It says we're live. Good evening, everyone. No one. I actually didn't even look. Who's here? A few people looking. Hey, how's it
Probably
going?
you and me, man.
Say hello. Say hello in the chat.
That's
And
okay.
yeah, we're what a weird week this has been.
It has been weird.
Uh Democrats compared uh immigrants to garbage.
Oh yeah,
De-
and transferring them to Martha's Vineyard is like the Holocaust. Fucking believable.
Gotta love it.
Oh yeah,
Got to love it.
and of course DeSantis comes out, and this is the thing I appreciate about DeSantis, right? He's very Trumpian in his sort of platform and what he believes in, what he states he believes in, but he's so much more articulate and so much more cogent when he talks about his positions. And he comes out and he basically makes his explanation to the press. He's like, "Look, you know what? Like nobody cared. Nobody cared when Biden was sending these people out under the darkness of night all over the country. This is just an extension of that. Who cares that I sent them to Martha's Vineyard? It's a nice place. Why wouldn't they want to go to Martha's Vineyard? They were happy to go to Martha's Vineyard, you know." And yeah, it was funny. It's interesting how you know Biden trucks these people or flies these people all over the country and under in the darkness of night, and they just sort of filter out into the cities where they land. And when DeSantis does it and sends it to Martha's Vineyard, within 24 hours the military's involved, National
Yeah.
Guard's there, and they move them to a joint forces base. I'm like, yep, there you go. That's exactly what you would expect from Champagne socialists.
Well, it's easy to virtue signal and tell people how good you are when you don't actually have to do the good thing you're demanding other people do.
Well, that's the thing, and people were online tweeting about how this is how we handled, the situation of this. We got people offering them food and stuff like that, and getting them clothes and places to spend the night and yada yada yada, because we're good people. What they don't tell you is it's all the Christian organizations that did that, which are probably more on the Republican side in the area, because it's not just Democrats living in Martha's Vineyard. I guarantee you, there's old school Republicans living there too, right? But anyway,
Seems possible.
yeah, it's not like Hoyt Ashbury in San Francisco or anything. It's not a bunch of fucking hippies there. It's rich people, and a lot of those rich people are probably on a more conservative bent.
Mm.
But anyway,
Oh,
hey, we have a viewer here in the chat. Hello, Costin. Welcome.
Costin,
Thank you for dropping by.
roast me, daddy.
We can we can always count on Costin to pop in and give us 2 cents. And
Oh,
before we started, you were telling me about chess. Something about chess.
just yeah, like I have this weird idea for a different kind of chess game, and so I started reminiscing about how we used to play chess.
Yeah,
Lot like that. I got the oddest group of people and so many of them into chess. Like, I went to high school in a place called Rexdale. It's not exactly known for its intellectual prowess, right? And there was a coffee shop, like just, half a block from the school. So that was where we would go. One day I just started bringing my chessboard. All right. And I would set it up and not ask anybody to play. And eventually someone was like, well, okay, show me how.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'd teach a couple of different people. Within a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 people are bringing their chessboards. So now there's like 2 or 3 chessboards set up across the tables at this fucking coffee shop. Okay. And it's all these like thuggish guys. Like,
yeah.
I can't confirm or deny whether or not they were drug dealers or gang members. But yeah, just suddenly had all these different people. Yes, hello, Six, playing chess. Right. And, because of the nature and reputation of the area, especially as the summer gets hot,
Yeah.
before school ends, cops are always rolling through. Like it's literally the high school, the coffee shop, the cop shop. Okay.
Right.
And they would just come out from the cop shop in the cruiser and just roll through the parking lot just to see what was happening.
Right.
And after several months of this, okay,
Yeah.
we must have given this one pair of cops coming through in the cruiser the like oddest thing they've ever seen on their beat in this school from this in this stupid coffee lot parking lot, because they roll up and there is a crowd. It's got to be 30 people all standing
They
around.
think there's a 3-card money game or
I don't know what they were
or
thinking,
drug
but
deal going on, right?
30 people standing around this one car because it's
Yeah.
nice. It's nice out now. We don't want to sit inside, so we're outside.
Yeah.
And as they're rolling through, passing behind the back of the car, I'm on one side of the car with my elbow on the trunk. My buddy's on the other side. It's his car, elbow on the trunk, just staring at the board,
Yeah.
staring. And finally, my buddy reaches out, picks up the piece, and sets it down. And 30 thuggish gangster guys all go, "Oh!"
Oh, I've seen the videos online of people like in New York, right? In Central Park, or on one of the little parks where they have the chessboards built into the marble tables, right? And people are watching and getting really excited when somebody does a bonehead move or does a great move, right? So I can completely picture that. Doing great, Six. Good to see you. Hey, I hope you're not offended when I repeatedly on Twitter call you a ginger spick. I don't mean it. It's a term of endearment. Because one, you're not a ginger, as you've told me, but I see a bit of reddish in your hair. But anyway.
No, he's not a man to get offended.
No. Oh, C-Mac's here too. Hey, C-Mac.
Gang chess wars.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to play chess. I know all the moves. I know a couple of openings for white, obviously. But I'm not a good player by any means. I get my ass kicked every time I play somebody. But every time, because when you're not a good player, the good thing is when you're not a good player, and invariably everybody's better than you. Everybody will always say, in this situation, you should do that. They're trying to help you get better, which is a really good thing about the community of chess players. If they can see somebody is completely, a novice, they're going to beat you, but show you what you did wrong and show you how to do better, right? Which is really, really nice. And it's not just the chess community. I find the same thing in, airsoft, any other sort of game where people have a real passion for it. The people who know better are always very helpful to the people who don't, which is it sort of restores your faith in humanity.
This is a wonderful
chessboard for Christmas. It's cool.
Yeah.
I always wanted to try that laser chess. It's not chess per se, but it's like, have you ever seen it?
No.
I think Mattel put it out back when I was like probably, I don't know, a kid or whatever. So the idea is you've got these pieces that move around on a square board, and they have mirrors on one side of them and blocks on the other. And sometimes those mirrors are flat, and sometimes those mirrors are angled, right? And the idea is you're going to move your pieces in such a way that you're trying to make the laser hit your opponent's king type character, right? And if you can reflect the laser along your pieces in such a way that it hits the opposing player's king, you win. So it all comes down to like angles. It's really math, really what it comes down to. But
also the pieces move the same way the chess pieces that really move.
They have their own specific. I can't remember exactly, but they have their specific moves. They can move either diagonally or orthogonally or what have you. They can move a several number of pieces, and each player only has, I think, 6 or 7 pieces. They don't have a whole row of pieces. But it was just a really cool idea when I saw it. I'm like, that's really cool. I'm not nearly smart enough to play that, but I want it anyway.
No, the way you were saying, like chess players do enjoy breaking it down, right? Like trying to discuss it with new players who are intimidated to play. Instead of telling them what to do, all I would do is tell them every thought in my head.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd read a couple of books by this one guy, Jeremy Silman,
Okay.
who's an international master, and I don't know if he ever won anything enormous, but what he was really good at was helping other players become really good. And yeah, like he had discussed, he realized the problem is in their thought process, not in their knowledge of the game. Right? It's that when they're playing, they're thinking weird. So he
Yeah.
just got them all to start talking so he could hear exactly what they're thinking. And I did it the opposite way. I'll just tell you whatever I'm thinking, and you
Yeah.
look at the board while I'm doing it. Right. And yeah, like I could basically teach people to beat me.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't help them anymore and they'd have to move on.
Did you ever see this video? It's this British mentalist. Can't remember what his name is, but anyway, he basically, his whole thing is, I think he had a BBC series where he debunked people who said they could do things of a supernatural nature. But he's a mentalist. He knows basically how to read people
Right,
and how
right.
to fake things. Well, what he did was he only barely knew how to play chess. He was not a chess master, but he got 10 master level chess players and set them up around a circular table, and he played all of them and beat 9 out of 10 of them.
Wow.
Do you know how he did it? He would do his move, and then whatever his first opponent did, he would do as the move on the next. And he just kept doing that all the way around. So basically, 9 of the players were playing each other, and he was playing one person. And of course, the one person he was playing beat him. But yeah, it was kind of funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. How is CMAC? The next 6 minutes is as evil as Irving Twin or Craig Bragg. I'm doing well. I'm doing all right. I had an okay week. It was pretty quiet. I'm not looking forward to next week. My partner in the department I work, it's just 2-man department. He's on vacation. He's going to Vegas for a week, so I got to run the department by myself.
Ooh, Vegas.
Yeah. He's gonna go shoot some big guns. So
nice.
He goes out into the desert. There's a place out in the desert where you can go and shoot anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't shoot machine guns here. He's like, I'm gonna go there and shoot machine guns. I'm like, shoot a 50 cal. He says, I might do the flamethrower package. I'm like, I would do that if I could burn something as opposed to just the rocks and sand. You know, if they set something up that I can set on fire, okay. But if I'm just shooting a stream of fiery jelly into the desert, I don't really care that much, right? Anyway.
No, I think they get their hands on like old burnt out cars. Well, maybe not burnt out,
probably
like junkers.
Probably.
Because I'm pretty sure that yes, you can also throw a grenade or fire an RPG.
Yeah, they got a bunch of different packages available, and I guess they're not cheap, but
no.
I mean, it's an experience that most people never get a chance to unless, they're, what do you call it? Demolition Ranch. You ever see Demolition Ranch?
No.
He's this Texan who's a veterinarian. He's got a gigantic property, and he goes out and he tests all these different guns. He's got a collection of guns. And whenever he gets his hand on a new gun he's never fired, he takes it out into the backwoods of his property and he shoots it and he blows things up and he tries to see how many, bottles of Elmer's glue are bulletproof kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, see how, it'll start with, 22, then 9mm and go up and up and up. And then eventually he brings out the 50 cal, right? 50 BMG, and he just obliterates whatever's in front of him. But yeah, it's a good channel because he's funny and he always has a couple of good people on every now and again, like Kentucky Ballistics and Garand Thumb, or Garen Thumb, however you say it. Anyway, yeah, it's a good channel. It's pretty funny.
Oh.
Can I drive a tank? I don't know. Maybe they have a tank you can drive. I know legally in the United States you are allowed to own a tank. There's no prohibition on owning a tank.
I really want to run something over in a tank.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Oh.
A Tesla.
So on a different note, I hear you have been exposed as a bot.
Yeah.
You're just part of a Russian troll farm. You're not a real person at all.
Bleep, blop, blorp. That's right. What Irving is referring to. Do you want to tell him?
Sure. Yeah. This trend on Twitter, I think it actually started over Biden's remarks about the MAGA extremists. So it was an American thing. But then I don't know if you know the guy. I don't know him, but I follow him, Marty Up North on Twitter.
Yeah. I've seen him on Twitter. Yeah, I follow him too.
I saw he claims that at least in Canada, he started this as a trend by accident, right?
Yeah.
Writing, I'm this kind of regular old person, this many years old with wife or kids and job. And, because I don't want to stick an unknown substance in my body, Justin Trudeau thinks I'm an extremist. Trudeau must go.
Yeah. And the
Right?
hashtag Trudeau must go has been trending for, well, the last Trudeau must go was like number one in politics trending for last couple of days. As far as I know, it's still number one trending. But
I think Twitter is trying to suppress it
I
artificially.
think
right?
they are too, because the activity on mine has slowed down. Let me see where I'm at. So I pinned the tweet just so I can keep track of it. But right now I'm sitting at with mine. I wrote, I'm 52 years old, married, and work full time in IT. I have a dog and a cat and own a home in the suburb. Because I believe people should be able to make medical decisions for themselves without being coerced. To Justin Trudeau, I'm an extremist. Trudeau must go. 963 likes, 384 retweets, and only a handful of comments. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
right. And which clearly means that you no longer exist or never existed to begin with. And I've been having conversations with one of the most advanced AIs the world has ever seen for years now.
yes, right. You even ate Italian dinner with him.
Yeah. Like, geez, these androids can actually digest food. It's fucking
right.
impressive.
No, I didn't digest it. When I got home, the engineers had to pump it out of my inner workings. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to continue functioning.
Like the gum in Vision, in WandaVision.
CMAC asked Bragg, "Are you married? Are you not married?" I'm like, "I'm married." Did I not include that in the Twitter?
Yeah. Pretty sure you did.
Yeah, married and work full time in IT. Yeah, I'm married, just no kids. But yeah, wife and I have been married as of June 3rd. It would have been 22 years. We've been married 22 years, and we dated for about 5 or 6 years before that. So we've been together a long time.
Yeah, but then a couple of angry liberal. One was an MP. What was the other?
I don't know. He might have been a journalist or some other pundit.
Yeah, like started saying, "Yeah, no, this is obviously a bot thing." Like,
yeah.
I am insert noble profession.
This is a paid for viral campaign.
Yeah, that was Garrettson, I think, who was saying it was right. And it's like, what are you going to do with the money?
Yeah, I know. I've tweeted, where do I get my check? Because I got some airsoft supplies I want to buy. I have yet to buy a regular M4, M4 style airsoft gun, and I think I found the one I want to get. And I know it's going to annoy a lot of people because it's not. It doesn't look like a replica. It was designed by G&G for Speedsoft. Now I don't do Speedsoft, but I've always had a hard time sighting down the barrel when I'm wearing a face mask and stuff like that. And the way this thing's been designed, it's got a stock that will pivot, so you can put it down on your shoulder and get your head down on the sight line better without your mask bumping into the buttstock. So I like that idea, and also it's G&G. It's a funky looking gun, and I like funky looking guns, and I like G&G. I think they make halfway decent airsoft guns. So
right on.
Yeah, it's called the SSG-01 or SSG-1, Speedsoft gun by G&G.
Well, yeah, apparently the check is in the mail, and
cool.
You could.
You know what though? It's in Canadian dollars. So
yeah, no, that's not good. Those are going to be worth less than Warcraft money soon.
That's right.
Because what? It's not. Is it still 2 more years till
Yeah.
an election, till
Yeah.
federal election?
2025, I guess, or 2020. Yeah, 2025. When our next, unless there's a vote of no confidence. And if you folks watched my video today, I'm hopeful for that. I made a video today pleading with political party leaders to adopt a policy or a stance or pass a bill or something that would punish any member, any elected member of parliament or elected official with ouster from the party if they make any disparaging or besmirching remarks against any segment of their constituency, and not just their constituency, but the citizenry, right? Because well, I'll let you watch the video, but essentially, there's this trend now where political leaders aren't just going after their political opponents; they're going after their political opponents' supporters, and anybody in the populace who doesn't agree with their policies. So Twin has left the building.
Sorry,
did you sneeze?
it was gonna be really nasty.
Oh,
So
okay.
I covered it.
Okay, there you go. Or you had to cut one.
Doesn't matter. I saved you all. You're welcome.
So yeah. So yeah, that's my thought, and I think I've mentioned it before on a live stream that I think it's completely unconscionable that a political leader, an elected official, would besmirch his constituents or besmirch their the citizenry. I think it's just it should be grounds for ouster from whatever political party you're in, regardless of who you're talking about.
Because like it's not, especially because it isn't like a fringe minority. Like it can't be hidden anymore. There was some 40,000 different tweets.
No, well, there might have been 40,000 different tweets, but with retweets and everything, I think it's something like 220,000 at this point.
Right, and when you consider the population of Canada and how many of them are actually on Twitter,
active on Twitter, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a fuck ton of people.
Yeah, it really is. And when you look at, and if you take a look and see the people, because of course, people who don't share that opinion are chiming in. You know, they come in with some comment and they're getting blasted. They comment on Gerald Butt's post, and they're getting blasted by everybody who, you know, like Gerald Butts will post what he said, and then you'll get, you know, people blasting Gerald Butts, and then out of every 200, there's one person saying, "I agree with you, Gerald Butts." You know what I mean? So the other are all, you know, shitting on him, right? So that tells you that it's, you know, it's organic. But
yeah, and like the people that so many people are posting photos. The photos don't look like stock photos from
no.
some random
I
website.
tell you, there's a lot of really pretty girls in Canada who believe in freedom. Not gonna lie. They're trying to convince the majority that they are the minority to shut them up. Well, exactly, right? And that's that. It started with Hillary Clinton calling half of Trump supporters a basket of deplorables. You know, that's the same sort of mentality. It's not enough to get your supporters energized by you. You need to get them energized against your political opponent and your political opponent's supporters. That's just a recipe for disaster. And it doesn't make for a very functional democracy, shall we say?
Yeah, and I mean,
all the ugly ones are liberals. Hey man, you said it, not me.
And isn't it like it's so weird that like all of this really started with an uppity gay Jew who said some things people didn't like at Berkeley.
That's right. It really did. Yeah, they said, you know what, we're going to pull out the heckler's veto.
Ugh.
We're going to pull out the heckler's veto and we'll burn the place down if people who say things we don't like are allowed to speak in public. So that's what you get. All the others are liberals. Oh my fucking ugly gay Jew. Is he really Jewish though? Like, I think he was born into a Jewish family, but I think you're talking about Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he would be very insulted if you said he was ugly. But
No, no, uppity,
oh,
uppity.
uppity. I thought you said
Yeah.
ugly. Yes, I think he's Jewish in the sense that he was born to Jewish parents, but I think he considers himself Catholic.
Yeah.
I think he's actually Catholic. I haven't thought about Yiannopoulos in a while, but you know what? He served his, he filled his role when nobody was being outrageous. He was the one who was brave enough to do it. Now he's sort of fallen out of favor, but I think he was the one that sort of reminded people that you've got to push back, and without him, you wouldn't have got, the shitlords posting on Twitter, on Twitter, on 4chan, and that sort of stuff, because people were cowed into silence because they were told that they're a minority and they need to shut up and let the marginalized have their time now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
yeah, and you know what? Before we get too far away from it, I think that the sheer volume of people on this hashtag and tweeting in this format, I've noticed, at least just from, because they pop up in my feed. I think you've been retweeting some of them.
yeah,
Some other Canadian.
yeah, I've been going through because they show up in my feed, and then I retweet anyone's that I'm like, yeah, okay, there's somebody who doesn't fit the stereotypical mold of what you would consider a conservative Canadian. They're not from Alberta. They don't fit, the perception of what Trudeau is trying to say. They're immigrants or son or daughter of immigrants. They work in healthcare, or they work in public service, or what have you, right? And I'm like, these are the misogynistic, hateful, anti-science people. Like, these are the ones that are. Are you sure?
But there's.
Are you talking about the guys with the long beards, and they call everybody a faggot every 5 seconds? You know what I mean?
Those guys with the duck whistles. No, but
what's a dog whistle?
No, duck whistle. Duck whistle.
Oh, it's a duck whistle. Yeah.
I have noticed, though, there is a fuck ton of farmers among them.
Yeah, a lot of farmers. Well, because they're being marginalized now too by the government.
Yeah, like I'm still fuzzy on the details, but basically they threw a tax onto fertilizers that have already been ordered. So they're coming in, but now, even though they've paid for them, they can't collect their fertilizer until they pay this tax as well.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
And they buy hundreds, if not thousands, of tons of fertilizer every year.
Yeah.
They buy it all at once. So, like, that's a huge chunk of change to have to pay this extra tax, which is not fair. I'm just surprised by all the people who say Poilievre is a fascist. I'm like, what country were you living in for the past 2 years where people were restricted from going places without showing specific papers, where people were told to stay home, where people were barred entry to restaurants, that kind of stuff? And you're calling Poilievre a fascist because he's saying people need to keep more of their money and these mandates have to end. And there's a rumor going around on Twitter that apparently the Trudeau government is now looking to get rid of the ArriveCan app because of the blowback. And I hope that's true. I hope they do get rid of the ArriveCan app, in which case it's a win. I think they're realizing that there's, with Poilievre's election and the fact that he won all but I think 6 or 9 ridings in Quebec, which is unheard of for a conservative party leader, is like a real wake-up call to them going, holy fuck, he's actually a legitimate threat. That's why guys like Akin were attacking him at his very first public speaking engagement with the press before he could even get his words out.
Yeah.
Because, you clearly are just falling into the stereotype, the role that he has defined for you as being a propagandist and a heckler on behalf of the liberals. You're acting exactly what he's calling you. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah, and that, like, I don't know if they don't notice. Like, are they that into it that they can't see that they're doing it? Like, or is it on purpose?
yeah, no,
I
I
can't
think
tell
they're
the difference.
obtuse. I think they're obtuse. I think they're under threat and they realize it because he's talked about defunding the CBC and getting rid of the $1.4 billion grant to all of the legacy media organizations in Canada. And they're like, fuck, we can't, we have to try and deep six this guy before he has a chance to win, because if we don't, we're going to lose, you know, the trough is going to be empty, so to speak, right? Uh, Costin says, I accuse Lauren Southern of being hot.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I thought of that of her, CMAC. Yeah,
Uh,
she's hot.
she is.
She's quite attractive. Not gonna lie.
The most
Most dangerous
dangerous
thing
thing
about
about
Pierre
Pierre
Poilievre.
Poilievre.
Yes, he'll attract voters back from the PPC. Well, that's just it, right? People felt justified in voting for Bernier because the CPC had basically abandoned its conservative roots and abandoned, you know, its principles in favor of being seen as moderate, right? And trying to attract moderate voters. Well, that's what I think is clear to Pierre Poilievre. It might just be him capitalizing on the way he sees the winds changing. Moderates are more conservative than they are liberal at this point because the liberals have gone so far left, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the thing. I am still a PPC supporter. I still prefer Maxime Bernier over Poilievre just because I know he's a known quantity, and I know that, or I strongly believe that what he professes to believe is true. Whereas Poilievre, it may very well just him being an opportunist and seeing how the wind is blowing, right? But but I don't know if he can see how the wind is blowing, then guys like Charest can see how the wind is blowing. Got the other Conservative Party candidates could have seen how the wind is blowing, and yet they didn't get on board with the maybe we need to try and get conservative voters back, as opposed to, you know, trying to appeal to the moderates.
Well, I mean, because when you look at it, the conservatives in the last federal election won the popular vote by like 1 million votes,
Yeah,
but they lost 880,000 votes to the PPC,
yeah,
right? Like potentially,
yeah,
right? So there was a whole nother million votes.
yeah. No, it's true. And then people say, "Well, you're splitting the vote." When I told my buddy, "Yeah, well, I mean, I really hope Poilievre wins." You know, I have no illusions about Maxime Bernier becoming the next prime minister, but he's going to get my vote. He's
Yeah.
like, well, that's why Poilievre's going to lose. I'm like, no, because my riding, now I know that they've been rejigging the riding. My riding uh, is very rarely in play. It's almost always going liberal because it's Oakville North and Burlington, or Oakville Burlington North, or Oakville North Burlington. Anyway, and it's very uppity Champagne socialist type people who live there, and so they typically vote liberal. So conservatives rarely have a chance of even winning. I'll look at the polls. I'll look at the situation of who our candidate is, and I'll see what their chances are of unseating Pam Damoff, because she's the one who's our representative, and she's won like 4 or 5 times in a row. And I'm like, if they have a chance of unseating, maybe I'll consider voting for the conservative. But for the time being, I got one vote. It's not going to swing my riding one way or the other.
Yeah.
And last time I looked, the PPC only got about 1,000 votes in my riding versus the liberals and the conservatives that, you know, got 10, 20 times that, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. Hmm. But circling back to the poop tax, the fertilizer tax.
Yeah.
Uh, they what's it called? They did the test run of this bullshit in the Netherlands,
Oh yeah.
and yeah,
That
that
caused
that
basically their highways to shut down, right?
yeah, and I forget, is he a prime minister they have in Netherlands, or is he a
I
president?
think they have
Whatever.
both the president and a prime minister, but I could be wrong.
Well, one of them literally resigned his post.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not something that's going to fly. Like,
No. Yeah, and here's the thing. I truly believe that Polyev, if Trudeau tries another tactic like he did against the truckers, against the farmers, if the farmers decide they're going to roll on Ottawa like the truckers did, and he tries another Emergencies Act nonsense or tries to engage in blocking their bank accounts or what have you, uh, Polyev will come out, and so will every other conservative, because Polyev will be, ostensibly the leader of the party, and they'll get in line with him. They'll come out and demand a no confidence vote, and Jagmeet Singh will be in under a lot of pressure to get on board with that. But I don't know if he will, because Jagmeet Singh is also a grifter and a race hustler, so I have no idea.
yeah, like, yeah, I don't think his constituents are with him anymore as leader of the NDP. Like,
no, I made another post on Twitter about how when I was younger, in my youth, I was a staunch NDP supporter. Being young, they weren't quite so handout heavy then, and they were really basically a working class party. They were about trade unions and teachers unions and things like that, and at that time I was like, yeah, the unions need support from the government, otherwise corporations will jump all over workers, kind of thing. So I was a supporter of the NDP, and I said, but the current leader is a grifter and race hustler, and Jack Layton would be, spinning in his grave if he saw what the NDP had turned into.
yeah.
But yeah. Scheer is back in power. Tony Clement is back with the Conservatives, and John Baird is tied to the WEF as well. Comments? What do you mean Scheer is back in power? He's not the leader of the Conservative Party. It's Pierre Poilievre.
I was going to ask about that as well. And John Baird tied to the WEF. I wouldn't be surprised if half of the Conservative Party is tied to the WEF, right?
Right. Right. They have the list of people on their website of young leaders that they, apparently have influence over. I mean, Chrystia Freeland, she's on their board, for crying out loud. So.
Oh yeah, and like as the granddaughter of a Nazi who was fourth in line to the power structure from Hitler.
Is that right? I didn't know he was that high up.
Yeah, no, he's not. He wasn't just some Nazi who happened to live in Germany at the time. He was like, he was like a king shit Nazi.
Scheer is in Pierre Poilievre's cabinet. Well, I think it's because Scheer, tapped him basically and said, I think Poilievre should be the leader. So it was probably like it was one of these deals with the devil, so to speak. I had no real problem with Scheer. I just think he wasn't effective. I do also think that he was handpicked by the Conservative Party leadership and the dairy cartel over Maxime Bernier. I thought Scheer did some decent stuff on the floor. He was pretty clever at holding the Liberal Party's feet to the fire when they said stupid shit or they put forward stupid shit, but it didn't really amount to anything apart from cute sound bites on YouTube. I think he's a player in the globalist game or in the political elite game, meaning there's the two parties are basically a uniparty. As long as they maintain power, they don't care who's in charge. As long as they stay in power,
Right.
you know what I mean? They don't care if they're the opposition or the ruling party. Neither one of them has an agenda to change the status quo too greatly, except it seems the current Liberal Party, where they simply want to usher in the WEF's plans. So I think Scheer is like every other politician. He's self-interested and an opportunist. So But I think I don't know. I don't think he'll undermine Pierre Polyev. I think he realizes that Polyev is better at this whole thing than he was. So,
like, for the most part, I do like his style. You know,
Scheer, well, yeah,
Polyev,
me too. Yeah,
right?
I do too.
There's like a kind of snark, a mirth, but it's good natured even against his opponents.
Yeah,
And but there are some things that that Maxime Bernier keeps pointing out that he didn't say when he probably should have.
yeah,
Right. So that's always in the back of my head. And but didn't he come out and say that like no one in his party should have any ties to the WEF or something like that, that they're going to try and make it some sort of rule, if not for
yeah.
politicians in general.
I think he has floated that statement or that promise. I don't know how. Here's the thing: he can say that, but with the WEF getting it's sort of like bad press of late, they'll just go clandestine on it, right? They won't be publicly supporting the WEF. It'll all be behind the scenes. Yeah, something's got to be done about the WEF. I'm glad they're kind of getting exposed now. Klaus Schwab doesn't seem to think it's a problem being exposed because I guess he figures he's already laid his chess pieces out, getting back to chess, and that now it's just a matter of moving the pieces around. So I have a problem with Scheer. He cheated Max out of the leadership. We could have had a very different experience if Andrew had been honest. Yeah, I don't think it was. I think they came to Scheer and said, "We want you because you're more friendly to our big donor class, the dairy cartel. So we're going to make it so that you become leader." And Scheer said, "Okay." You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was his plan to do that. I think the powers that be came to him and said, "We want to make you leader, okay? We don't care how the votes land. We're going to make you leader." And you're right. He probably just went, "All right, I promise I'll do a good job."
Are you reading this one?
It's too late to do anything. That's why they don't care.
See, because I'll tell you, sometimes I very much feel like this. This is something that just hits me right in the feels, and then
I don't. I mean, it's kind of a loaded statement. I'm not sure what he's referring to.
Like the WEF.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late to do anything. That's why they don't care about being
exposed. No, it's never too late to fight back. I know you feel that yes, we're all doomed to be eating crickets and living in pods, but I don't agree with that. I think they're going to try hell or high water to implement this kind of thing, and it's going to be done at such a slow pace that it's going to be a death by 1,000 tiny cuts. But I think that they went whole hog on COVID-19 to try and sort of push things forward to Agenda 30, and they didn't realize there would be as much backlash as there was. And I think they kind of played their hand too early. I don't think it's too late. I think you're going to see more and more pushback. It's not a stable tyranny is not a stable system. It never is. And that's why they don't last. You can enrich yourself on it and you can, lord power over people and get your jollies off that way, but it won't last. You'll eventually be brought down. So I don't think it's too late.
And I always end up thinking of that meme, and it gives me a little bit of comfort, right? If the situation were hopeless, their propaganda would be unnecessary.
Right. Exactly.
So
I think the biggest mistake they made was when they put it out on their public websites, like, here's what we have planned for you.
You'll own
and nothing. Anybody with a thinking brain should be opposed to this, but we're going to try and make it sound sweet. And then the phrase "build back better" became the mantra of so many Western leaders that it became altogether obvious who was on board with this. So you got your Bidens, you got your Trudeaus, you got your Boris Johnsons, there's a couple of others that threw it out there.
Ardern.
Yeah, I'm sure. Macron, I'm sure, said it in French. I'm like, okay, these are all the enemies of the people. So we know what we need to do now. Thanks for broadcasting it, folks.
So yeah,
You're stating that ministers cannot have any ties to WEF. Oh, good.
that's a step maybe. Here. True, it always fails, but how long do we have to wait, survive for that to happen? Well, USSR lasted a good 70 odd years, and China's still going strong. So
right, that's true. However, the only way China is going strong, in quotes. Their economy is shit. They're not doing that well. They really only managed to keep going by basically lying about their GDP and by tyrannizing their people, and the fact that nobody has guns, right? They also control all the information coming into their country.
Yeah,
we have a little bit more access to information here in the West, a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more. We'll see how well they are with Bill C-11 and trying to control the flow of information. I know they're pushing for that in the United States too. They want to rein in the tech giants to try and make them become propagandists like the legacy media. But yeah. In any event, it's true, it always fails, but how long do we have to wait and survive? Well, we shouldn't wait. We should push back. We should fight. And just think of how much fun it's going to be fighting it. You know, I would never believe that when I turned 52, I would be a revolutionary or you know, anti-establishment. So, but I will be. I'll push back as hard as I can. If the ArriveCan app is still around when I fly to Antigua in December and then I fly to Chesapeake the following week, I'm not going to use it coming back, and they can give me a ticket. I don't care. My wife will lose her shit. Why don't you just use it? Why don't you just use the app? And I'm like,
no, all you have to do is fight it if they even bother to write you one at this point, and you'll never see court. It'll just get thrown.
No, they'll just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can give me a ticket. I'm like, okay, these are going to get thrown out. Last I checked, PHAC, we're not peace officers. And last I checked, police officers in Canada Border Services answered to the judiciary, not to the Public Health Association of Canada or Agency of Canada. So that's fine. You can give me this ticket. You want to be the stooge of PHAC, that's fine. But I mean, I'm not going to be rude about it, but I'm like, it's just going to get thrown out. Go ahead, give me the ticket. It's just going to get thrown out because I will go to court and fight it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is so far, if I'm not,
they probably just can't. From what I understand, people are just can't. The courts are just canceling the court dates. Yeah.
Yeah, because
like you show up with your ticket, say I'm here to dispute a fine. Okay, give me the paperwork. Okay, sit there. 10 minutes later, okay, this has been dismissed. You're good to go.
Yeah, and it's one part of our Constitution for the citizens of Canada that has yet to be actually stepped on. Your re-entry to your nation is conditional on nothing.
Yeah,
you just get to go in there.
Just being a citizen.
Yeah.
Even, you know, and here's the thing: even if you didn't have a valid passport, I mean, you need one to go to another country. But let's say you came into let's say you lost your passport while you're in the United States, and you're trying to cross back into Canada, and you don't have it, and you weren't able to get to the embassy in a timely manner. As long as you can prove that you're a Canadian citizen, and they can verify that through biometrics, they have to let you in.
Conversely, you could just walk across the border at Roxham Road.
Yeah. But you could, I mean, if you're coming back into the country, if you're going into the United States at Roxham Road, there you might have a problem because you're entering another country illegally, right? Shoot, I just realized I missed almost an hour. Well, we're glad you're here now, Coach T-Mac.
Love to have you.
That's a new name I haven't seen before either.
Yeah, I don't recognize the avatar, but the name sounds kind of familiar. Of course,
I love the avatar. I love the avatar. Is that now? I'm trying to figure out who that is. Is that a He-Man character, or is that one of the? Is that a Florida Gator? That's a Florida Gator. You have to tell me.
C-Max Coach around.
Your avatar, please confirm. Is it a Florida Gator or is it a He-Man character? He's gonna stay silent now.
Oh no, I think the delay is actually really long today. No, C-Mac, it's not. No, I'm really like phlegmy.
Oh, you're coughing a lot.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know
not
what?
just like, haha.
I have a feeling that this is starting to have an impact on me because I've been coughing a lot as well.
Mm.
And so I think I've got like globs of polyethyl glycol or vegetable glycerin like embedded in my throat. Hasn't seemed to have affected my singing voice though, so we're okay. Gloucester High School Gators. Okay, so it is a sports mascot. Thank you. Are you in Gloucester, UK? Or is Gloucester somewhere in the United States? Or is it in Canada? I don't know. They keep speaking Canadian and it makes me want some subtitles. I only speak Texan.
XYZ, motherfucker.
Stuck in Ottawa is a wrestling logo. Ah, you're in the nation's capital. That's great. Go over to Sussex and take a shit on the doorstep of our prime minister.
Oh, what was the other ridiculous thing?
Sussex Drive? Is that the name? That's the address of the prime minister's house, right? That's another thing. People were shitting all over Polyev.
Yeah, I was just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just like, oh, and he's moving into taxpayer. Oh, it's always the official residence of the leader of the opposition.
That's right.
Why wouldn't he go there?
Because they're saying that he doesn't support government handouts and stuff. I'm like, it's not a government handout. It's a part of the functioning of Ottawa. It's part of the functioning of the House. In the same way that the Prime Minister moves into 24 Sussex, the leader of the opposition moves to was it Pameray or whatever it's called.
Look, if Polyev tries to get them to like rebuild a whole new place like Trudeau did, right, on the taxpayer dollar, then maybe some bitching and moaning is due, right? But
yeah.
Oh.
Is there anything else? Any other topics people want to talk about? Last week it was cats. And Six wasn't around to appreciate it.
We did surprisingly well with that because they started bringing up some really good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
what else is there? Hey, Six, did you know that in Canada milk comes in bags? Mac and cheese is called Kraft Dinner.
I had to send a photograph to Pox to show him what the bags of milk look like, right? Yeah. And he's looking at it, he's like, doesn't it just spill all over the fridge? No, guy, every Canadian also has the little container, upright container with the handle on it. You put it in there, cut the corner.
It's a perfect size, and the weight of the bag keeps it in there.
Yeah.
And when you're born, your first gift at your baby shower is one of those little things that cuts the triangle off the top, and you have to keep it your whole life because if you lose it, it's like 6 weeks the government to get another one.
Oh, that was actually a game.
Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
No, but I go around trying to convince people about something from your culture that isn't true, but see if they buy it.
Yeah.
Right. Like if a little kid falls down, right, or something goes minorly wrong, right, to comfort each other, Canadians will say, just pour a little syrup on it.
That's right. Just pour a little syrup on it, make it better. Here, I want to share this with our American friends. if
Just
you
the
don't
milk
mind.
bag?
No. People in America don't know what that is. This is the device that's on the outside of that little milk jug bag holder. She's got the little clip there, allows you to clip it on the outside of the plastic jug that you use to open the bag. You cut the corner of the bag so you can pour it with the little blade.
These are not transferable. You
That's right.
cannot lend them to your neighbors,
Nope.
right?
You get issued one. You get issued one. It's normally a gift that they give you when you're born, and you have to hang on to it. And if you ever lose it, you got it. You have to have a new one issued by the government. It takes like weeks and weeks and weeks to get one.
And on your death, you don't have to have a family member return it if you are buried with it.
That's right. You can be buried with it, but if you don't get buried with it, your family member is meant to return it.
The bag cutter is real, though.
Yes, I have seen chocolate milk in a bag, Costin. Yes, I've never bought it, but I have seen it. Because who drinks that much chocolate milk that you need a fucking 1 liter bag of it, or 1.5 liter bag of it? I convinced a ton of Scottish people we live in igloos and use sled dogs. Well, depending on where you are, you might. You're in the Northwest Territories, you very well might.
So, I had a buddy who had a Scottish buddy who didn't understand anything about Christianity, especially Catholicism.
Yeah.
So my buddy's trying to explain to him Catholicism, right?
Yeah.
And he's not like super religious, but he knows enough, and he's trying to explain it to him. And the Scottish guy is telling somebody else that, oh, yeah, this guy explained it to me, right? Oh, okay, so tell me about Catholicism. He goes, well, they think their God is this biscuit, and then they eat the biscuit.
I remember in high school there were these girls who they told me how they convinced their friend. So I wasn't privy to this story; it came to me secondhand. So this girl, she had she'd just gotten a job. She was like 18 years old. Very first job, and she banked with TD Bank, Toronto Dominion Bank. And back in the day, when you used the ATM, after you took your card out, you got this little card that showed you your balance, how much you deposited, or whatever, right? It was a statement before there was like thermal ink paper. It was like a dot matrix receipt of your transaction on a little card, slightly bigger than a credit card or a bank card, right? And so she got into the car after checking her bank account to see that she got paid from, that her check had cleared from her paycheck, and she'd taken some money out to go out for the night. And she like tore up the little card and threw it in the waste paper basket in the car. And her friends had her convinced, is like, you have to hang on to those. She's like, no, I don't. She's like, yeah, you have to hang on to those. You have to, when you file your taxes at the end of the year, you have to submit all of those. If you don't, you're getting huge trouble. And they convinced her that she had to start hanging on to them. Anyway, it was funny.
So what are fake things about the places you live, Chet?
Costin, you're in Stratford. What are some fake things that you tell people about Stratford?
And don't be afraid to tell us some things that are real, to try and convince us of the fake things that you peppered in there, like we did with the bag cutter. Right.
6, you have to tell us some fake things about Texas. Like, there is actually a basement in the Alamo, despite what Pee Wee Herman's movie would have you believe.
Yeah, but anything 6 tells me about Texas, I'll believe. I don't care. That so many people have privately owned elephants that they just let loose because they couldn't handle it anymore. That there's now an elephant preserve
herd of elephants roaming around Texas. Yeah.
No. They rounded them up and put they just enclosed the area, and now it's an elephant reserve. I'd be like, yeah, no, I believe it.
CMAX says, real thing about Kingston, all kinds of underground tunnels. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a pen there, right? So I imagine they probably, and also it gets very, very cold and icy and snowy there. So I can completely understand why they would have tunnels there.
But what's his name? The famous one from Kingston.
Oh, um,
Skeptic? Armored Skeptic? Greg?
oh, is he from
Yeah.
Kingston? I knew he was
Yeah, yeah.
Canadian. I know he was from Kingston.
Yeah, yeah. He did the whole thing about like he turned into the crazy conspiracy theorist channel, which was great because he did some really good research on it, did the whole mud floods thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
apparently, yeah, Kingston, it looks like half of this city is underground, right?
yeah.
And there is some like because yeah, different forts. They have some star forts and stuff in Kingston, right? So it's really a historical place.
That's pretty cool. I like Kingston. It's one of my favorite Canadian cities. Ottawa is also another one of my favorite Canadian cities. And surprisingly, even though it's a left-wing hellhole, Guelph is one of my favorite Canadian cities. Now, that being said, I haven't been very far outside of Ontario. I've been to Quebec, and Quebec City is very nice. I'm not a big fan of Montreal. Halifax is a nice city, but it's not one of my favorites. I think Peggy's Cove is nicer, but that's like a tourist trap. But um, but yeah, Canmore is a nice little town in Alberta. But yeah, what's another crazy thing about? Oh, I'll tell you something about Oakville, where I grew up. Oakville was originally started as a logging community. The guy who founded it wanted to use the 16 Mile Creek to move timber up and down. But the problem was that most of the 16 Mile Creek is shallow as hell. And you can't really move timber down it. So, but that being said, that's what it was started as, and it became this like uppity rich place. But um, but yeah, there's lots of really cool but not very interesting stories about Canada.
Boom, roasted.
Biggest thing we have here is Mark Garrettson. I don't know who Mark Garrettson is.
It was Garrettson and GM Butts, Gerald Butts, who
Oh,
were
okay.
going
Who
on.
is Mark Garrettson though? Like, what does he do?
He's an MP.
Oh, is he? Okay,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure. Yeah.
Is the manor still operating in Guelph? Yes, I understand it is. The manor is this old building, one of the older buildings in Guelph. It was turned into a strip club, and
Nice.
as far as I know, it's still operating. I've heard a number of times they're talking about closing it down, but I don't know. Yeah, I've never been there, but they have like a prime rib special. It's always advertised on the outside.
You know what? You'd be surprised. Strip club food can be pretty fucking good.
That's right. You come for the prime rib, stay for the titties.
Oh, what's this? There was a sinkhole in Ottawa a few years ago when they were building the tunnels for light rail. A construction worker died. Rumor has it that he was going to expose the new bunkers that Trudeau was making for himself. Wow.
But they don't have bunkers there already. You figured they would.
Secret private bunkers for him and his friends.
Yeah, where they could rape little kids. That was another spicy tweet I put out there on Twitter. So he took a photo with King Charles, right? And he posted about it. And I said, and then you exchanged notes on
Diddling kids.
diddling kids, didn't you? You fucker. Anyway. Yeah, I'm still getting some traction on that tweet. I'm at 966 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the next 6 minutes, facts about Texas. Some Texas ranches are larger than some other states. El Paso is closer to Los Angeles than it is to Houston. Miami is farther south than the Rio Grande River. You know what? Considering Rhode Island is a real place,
Yeah.
I might believe that there's a fucking ranch in Texas that's bigger than Rhode Island.
Yeah, there you go.
There may like I said, I will believe everything. Like Texas is one of 2 states that's bigger than Ontario.
I guess the other one would be Alaska. No,
Yeah.
Ontario's big though. Ontario's big.
Yeah, but Alaska is enormous.
Yeah.
We don't think about it because it's tucked up way in the corner, but when you actually
Yeah.
do like a size comparison, it's like holy fuck, it's ridiculous. It's
I really
easily
want to
like,
go to Alaska. You know, I didn't tell you about this, but I told Melina this. I just doxed my wife. I told my wife this. Um, I want to try doing a airsoft exclusive YouTube channel called Airsoft Nomad or the Airsoft Tourist, where I just go across Canada and the United States and play airsoft at different fields and meet the people who run the fields. And I think that'd be cool. You know, take like a 2-month road trip, just driving across Canada, playing at all the airsoft fields, meeting the operators, and playing with their players and finding out what makes it such a great field and giving my reviews of the field and stuff. I think that'd be a cool series of videos for airsofters.
yeah.
I want people to play airsoft. People play airsoft. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm the only person I know that plays airsoft, like in my circle of friends.
Now, I'm going to believe Six because whatever he tells me about Texas is true. But I will check it later.
In terms of like square miles, I think Ontario's big, man.
I know
it's way up there. It goes up there and touches the Arctic Circle, for Christ's sake, or it touches the Northwest Territory.
Ontario is 1/5 the size of Europe.
Yeah.
So, what's airsoft? I'm a girl. Help me out. Airsoft is toy guns for grown men.
That's right. That's right. Airsoft is like paintball, but not messy. There's no paint. You just shoot little 6mm plastic BBs that are made of a cellulose material, so they're biodegradable for the most part. And it's fun. It's fun. You get all geared up to look like an army man, and you go out into the woods and you shoot each other.
Wait. So by trying to ban airsoft, Justin Trudeau is actively acting in an anti-environmentalist capacity.
That's right. That's right.
What a bastard.
I know, right? Because now here's the thing. You can't, they're not banning pellet guns. So if you shoot lead pellets, that goes into the water, you're filling the water table with lead. I have a Ruger Blackhawk pellet gun. Ruger Blackhawk's a nice gun. No, you cannot use the metal pellet guns. If you get a Ruger Blackhawk replica airsoft gun, absolutely, you can come out and play. Although revolvers in airsoft you're kind of operating at a disadvantage. People will think your gun's cool, but it's just going to take it's going to be a pain in the ass to change all the cartridges and load them up with new BBs and that sort of thing, because they operate with actual little cartridges, 6 cartridges with BBs in each cartridge, and then you have to load them up each time you use them. Versus like getting an M4 where you get a magazine that has 250 rounds in it or something like that, right? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna hide myself for a second because I want to show you something.
Is it a gun?
It might be.
And yeah, CMAC, if you follow Craig on Twitter, that's probably going to be the best way to like reach out to him, and he'll be able to give you different bits of information that you can start chasing down for like where things might be in your area, and other like airsoft YouTube channels to follow and stuff. So I didn't leave a link to his Twitter in the description here, but fuck yeah.
This is my P90. I've outfitted with a red dot sight, a tracer unit, and a light, an intermittent switch, so I can blind people in the CQB.
It strobes?
It strobes, yeah. You just tap it.
Oh, so, no, you got to get high frequency strobe on that. Like,
well, if I'm quick enough, I can. But anyway, the idea is, you can, because CQB fields, like indoor CQB fields, can be kind of dark, right?
Yeah.
I have a battery in it, so I'm not even going to attempt to shoot it. But so you hit this, so one, you can see where you're shooting, and possibly blind somebody who's trying to shoot at you, and then you hit them. And this tracer unit that's on the end here, it's not a very good tracer unit, but it does a trick. You use special BBs that will be charged up by the lights inside the tracer unit, and then when the BBs fly out, they glow green, so it looks like you're shooting a laser gun. It's kind of cool. So anyway, just want to show that off. I'll shut this door. That's my P90.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great toy.
Yep. Yeah, I have more. No, actually, I have the. Do I have more? I have the same number of airsoft guns now that I do of real guns. So I got a problem. I've been spending way too much money on airsoft.
Oh, well, you used to have that many guns. You lost them all in an unfortunate boating accident.
That's right. Actually, none of my guns were on the list, so I don't feel bad about that. Like, I don't need to hide them.
It's lucky.
Although I am an extremist that needs to be dealt with. So who knows? RCMP may be banging on my door very shortly to take my guns away.
Frostbacks with BB guns. This country is going to shit. Hello, God.
Yes, you're right. Frostbacks. There needs to be another name for Canadians that's more disparaging.
Oh, yeah. But I can't say it.
What is it?
Well, there's Snowbeaner, right?
Snow beaners.
But also
and then snow N-words.
Maple N-words or syrup N-words. Yeah.
That's awful. That's funny though.
So
yeah, it's much more extreme than hoser.
Which that was always our word because nobody else wanted it.
That's right, you hoser.
Yeah.
I miss Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah.
They were the very first trailer park boys.
That's when the country was much better balanced between its like urban population and its rural, less than suburban population.
Yeah. Yeah, there's way more suburbs now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that long ago.
Pox Toxic is here, so time to stop saying honest things. Let me lie to me harder, mommy. So I understand you got a game that you wanted to play there, Irving.
Oh yeah, I probably should have done it earlier. It's just been sitting waiting. At least I loaded it up this time. It's actually running.
You want to play Caesar 4?
No, but I don't want to start playing it when we don't have things to talk about. So let's again, guys, sorry. Zero preparation.
F in the chat for this bottle of Crown. Well, that's good. Pox is drinking good old Canadian whiskey.
Damn straight. Of course,
you're drinking Wild Turkey, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
What happened to the Bareface? You were on a Bareface kick for a good long time.
Yeah. I still am, but supply chain issues are real.
So So Bareface is hard to get.
There is no Bareface on the shelves right now. Sometimes there's no radishes. Sometimes there's no broccoli. It's intermittent and passes around from item to item. But yeah, anyone who goes in the grocery store and goes, "There's food here," but doesn't believe that there are shortages and supply chain problems is off their fucking rocker, because how can you not find fucking radishes?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're a domestic food crop, right? We grow them here, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's an argument for people getting their own backyard gardens. If you have a house and you have a backyard, You should grow a food garden. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't live here when my dad died, and my mom had his backyard garden just like basically bricked over to make like a second patio. And so now my sister's also living here. In a week or two, as it starts to get cooler, we're gonna unbrick that patio, get it cleaned up, and have the garden ready to go for next year. So
Nice.
plus, I'm like a master of growing marijuana. So I'm gonna have like all these tomatoes and peas and basil, garlic and onions, and then
and then
wheat
Canada's right next to it.
Yeah.
Six has got another fact about San Antonio.
San Antonio facts. San Antonio's in top 10 hottest cities. San Antonio's in top 10 worst cities for seasonal allergies. San Antonio is most visited city in Texas. Six makes San Antonio awesomer. All of these things are true. I believe them.
Where is San Antonio in relation to Dallas Fort Worth? That's what I want to know. I mean, I can look it up, but there's a YouTuber that I watch called Stilt Beast
Cheers.
Studios, and he's situated in Texas, and I think he's near Dallas Fort Worth, and it might even be San Antonio. Anyway, he does this boot camp where you can go there and learn to make a latex, yeah, like a rubber mask. So basically, you spend, it's like a weekend workshop where you spend time, sculpting the face you want to make. Then you make a mold, and then you pour latex on the mold, and then when you're done, you've got like a Halloween type mask. And I'm like, I so want to do that. I've always wanted to do that, and I'm sure there's probably some place in Toronto I could do it. But I'm like, I've never been to Texas. I'm going to make a trip down to Texas to do it. So yeah, Dallas Fort Worth is in North Texas. San Antonio is in Central Texas. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was North Texas. So I think he's Dallas Fort Worth.
It's weird that like this latex technology exists, because I used to threaten my buddy Romy that I was going to get a tattoo of his face on my face. So now I'm Romy.
CVAC says, sounds like a fetish camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for people who are into Halloween masks, I guess. I've always wanted to do a Halloween haunt on my front lawn. Every year I'm like, I should do a haunt on my front lawn, like build structures and like a little maze and stuff for people to walk through with spooky shit inside.
Yeah.
I never get off my ass and do it though. But maybe one year I will. Maybe when I'm retired and I've got nothing to do but the things I want to do, and I don't have to worry about going to work the next day. Maybe I'll start doing that.
So what else has happened in the world?
Trying to think. Not sure. Not much. Aliens haven't landed yet, so everything's pretty boring.
What's the it's a Calvin and Hobbes joke, which I guess means it's a Bill Watterson joke. I think the surest sign that there's intelligent life in the universe is none of it has tried to contact us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there is a great documentary about that. 3 families that do elaborate haunted houses. Yeah, I've seen that. It's a big sort of thing in the U.S. where, come Halloween time, just regular people living in the suburbs, they deck out their houses and their garages. They do really fantastic haunted houses, and they do it every year, and they do it for charity. So people, they drop off food for the local food bank, or they donate money or whatever, and it goes to some cause, and then they get to go through the haunted house. Yeah, and I saw that documentary. I'm like, man, I want to do that. And now there's a YouTube channel called Grim Life Collective, where basically normally what they do is they go to different different horror movie sites where they filmed horror movies, like Phantasm and things like that, right? But right now they're on a haunted house tour where they're going across the United States between now and Halloween to visit all these people who do professional haunts, where it's like a roadside attraction you pay money to go into, kind of like they have screamers at Niagara Falls, right?
Kentucky for the win.
that's pretty cool. Around here we have the USS Nightmare. It's a big ass haunted riverboat. That's pretty cool. That's because all the like little hallways and passageways inside of a boat like that. That would be cool. I'd like to go to that. I've seen a couple of videos of people playing airsoft on on like a battleship, like a cruiser, like like it's disused. It's no longer in use. So they rent it out for events and things like that, for movie shoots and stuff like that. And they rented it out to this group who ran an airsoft event in it. Like that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Oh, Bill Maher
Yeah,
coming around.
yeah. He came around and said that Trudeau sounds like Hitler.
Well, I think that one was a while ago, but
Was
yeah,
it?
like more and more.
Yep. He's starting to realize I'm on the wrong team here.
Yeah, or his team's gone wrong on him. Which
Yeah,
I think is more
it's
accurate.
like Reagan saying, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. Right, same sort of thing.
Yeah, like what was one of the jokes he had made in the thing I saw recently, just today actually, that humans are not good people. But no, he was talking about.
I think we're better people than giraffes. Giraffes are assholes.
Actually, yeah. Have you seen how fucking like violent they can be with each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Giraffe battles are fucking scary as shit, man.
I read something that giraffes have the same number of bones in their neck that humans do.
Oh yeah, that was when I don't know why we all ended up trolling on somebody's fucking Twitter feed there that they.
Yeah.
I think it was some e-thought saying, asking for information she didn't know.
That's
And
right.
somebody started labeling, saying stuff about giraffes, and I think Six jumped in with something about giraffes. So I jumped in too, going, "Did you know giraffe necks have the same number of bones as human necks? Because they do. It's 7 bones."
And then I came in with piss is stored in the balls and poop is stored in the buttocks.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you sort of broke theme there, but
Well, I don't have I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I just say stupid shit.
but no, because I had watched. Was it a Planet Earth type? I don't know if it was a Planet Earth or
Yeah.
a Planet Earth type thing.
Yeah.
And this particular episode was about the Serengeti.
Okay.
And the segment on giraffes was basically all about giraffe on giraffe violence, when the two males decide that they're gonna fight for the territory and mating rights in the region. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
You realize that neck and those stupid little nubs on the top of their head are like, it's like a giant fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like they just swing that head and jab those horns into each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
It's like going up against a giant in Skyrim, and he just fucking launches you with his
Yeah,
with his big club. You go into orbit.
it's fucking, because like when you see them and they're just like, oh, look at these giraffes and how long their stupid fucking purple tongues are. You just think, oh, they're just like stupid long-necked cows. No.
I think they're more closely related to like alpacas and camels, aren't they?
I don't know. Because like I know some of those words: bovine, equine. What are llamas and alpacas? Are they like goats?
Domadrines? I don't know.
But I always think of giraffes as like some stupid long-necked amalgamation of horses.
I have a friend who hates giraffes and thinks they're the stupidest animal ever, and I'm like, they're not stupid. Well, why do they have a long neck? I'm like, so they can reach the leaves on the top of the trees. Why don't they just reach the leaves on the lower parts of the trees? I'm like, well, the younger giraffes do that, but as the bigger they get to the top part of the tree. That's where all of the most nutritious leaves are, because they absorb the most sun. Anyway, he thinks giraffes are stupid. Like, they're no more stupid than a rhino or a fucking hippopotamus.
Fox thinks the giraffe fights are funniest. right?
Yeah.
And that they stand flank to flank and flail their heads at each other, right? And so CMAC says, couldn't they just break each other's legs? They could, but they actually actively engage in defense. So it's like a really stupidly long-necked sword fight at times.
Yeah.
And only the smarter, wiser, more experienced giraffe can actually dodge just right and get at the younger guy's legs, which is how
Yeah.
the fight in this video I watched ends. Right, that they're protective of their legs.
Right. Well, and also, even though they're fighting for dominance, there's like there's. Do you ever read The Selfish Gene by Dawkins?
No.
So in The Selfish Gene, he explains evolution and propagation of species from the gene's eye view, saying basically that humans and all other biological creatures are just vehicles for the propagation of genes. That we've basically been hijacked by the genes in our bodies to propagate ourselves. And he uses that sort of mentality. It's been years since I read it, but I'm trying to wrap my head around it. When you hear when you see a sort of level of reciprocal altruism amongst species amongst animals that are probably in competition for food sources or mates or what have you, they still engage in certain behaviors which you would think would be counterproductive to their own individual survival. And the reason for that is, at least the way he puts it, is because you're going to try and do things to make sure that your genes survive, but you also realize that another member of your same species that is generally local enough to you is sharing some of your genes. So it's not a huge big deal for a seagull to squawk that there's food nearby as opposed to keeping quiet and just taking the food. Because even if it doesn't get the food, the genes are still surviving in another member of the same species that is close enough in proximity geographically that the genes persist, right? And that's why when I was thinking about the giraffes, you would think they'd probably avoid going for the legs in a real serious manner, because if they disable another member of their same species, that's detrimental to the survival of the genes. It means that species is probably going to die, or that specimen is probably going to die, and then that means that those genes have less chance to pass on to the next generation. But I don't know. I'm just surmising.
There's probably a lot of reasons. From my understanding, too, most dominance fights rarely are to the death. That basically, if one retreats, the other lets them retreat. Right?
Yeah, it's a dominant. Yeah, it's just that it's a dominance fight, right?
Yeah.
They're fighting to achieve dominance. They don't necessarily want to destroy. But I'm just thinking, because their legs are so spindly, it'd be a very, very dangerous thing to do, to take out your opponent's legs, unless you're not hitting them so hard that they're going to permanently break one of their legs, right? But I don't know. Says Craig, Google giraffe fights. So my genes are assholes. Yes. Being an asshole is an evolutionarily stable strategy.
Yeah,
because it can get you laid, especially for girls with daddy issues.
The virtue of selfishness, right?
Yeah.
I think I've tried to explain this in as basic terms as possible, right? I am incredibly selfish. I want my fancy ass computer and my video games. I want good films. I want fine spirits. Now, if I was the wrong kind of selfish, the stupid kind of selfish, right? I might try to wield power over others and force them to produce these things that I can't produce for myself, right? And chain them up in my basement and say, "Produce fucking whiskey, you bastards." But the thing is, if they're forced to do it, they're probably not going to put a lot of effort into it. They're just going to put the absolute bare minimum, right? If all they're doing is surviving to make me more whiskey.
Yeah.
Right. Where if a person is free to decide to make whiskey because they actually like not just the whiskey, but the process of making it and taking the time and like opening up this huge barn or shed and like look at all these barrels that have been aging for 6.5 years. It's only
Right.
4 more months till they go into finishing, and then we can bottle and stuff, right?
Not only that, and they're getting compensated for their efforts too, right?
If they can thrive off of doing something they love, I get a better product. So if
Right.
I'm truly as selfish as I claim to be, I have to allow everybody to engage in whatever it is they mean to do so that I can exploit that later.
Right. Pox Toxic says, never marry a stripper. Reminds me of a Bloodhound Gang song.
Everything reminds you of a Bloodhound Gang song.
Yeah, but this one in particular. The lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying. It's such a great song because it's done on this like Casio keyboard. And it's at like one of those little toy Casio keyboards. It's so good. It's basically a rap with just the chorus of him singing that. But yeah, that song is truth, says Pox Toxic.
And yeah, we both have Discord servers, but we're not really active on Discord.
Yeah, I don't really go. When I do use Discord, it's to send a message to somebody like Irving or Six. Say, hey man, how's it going? Yo, check this out. But I don't really, yeah.
We should though.
Uncle
Jeezy.
Jeezy's here. Just got back from the grocery store. What did you buy at the grocery store, Jeezy?
You know, food.
You could have been out there getting condoms. Six put out a new video today. I'm sorry, Six, I have not yet watched it. I will, though. I will give it a watch.
Oh, this is magic.
I had to pick up some Preparation H for how badly my ass hurts from getting raped by these prices.
Yeah, like people don't even notice it. Like, I used to get the no-name brand pasta.
Yeah.
Right? The little yellow bag. It's 900 grams, literally 2 pounds of pasta.
No
for
frills?
$1. Yeah, no frills.
Yeah.
For $1. They're $1.79.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it in absolute terms, 79 cents. Okay, that's not a lot,
It's
but it's
80%
almost
increase.
80% more.
Yeah.
Right? For years, since I first got the dog, his bag of food was like under $110 for, is it a 30-pound bag of food or whatever?
Okay.
I noticed the price increase a little while ago, less than a year, to like $125.
Yeah.
You know what I paid for it a couple days ago? $145.
Oof. I think you got to put the dog down.
Like, I've always made the joke, like, it costs more to feed the dog than it does to feed me, right?
Yeah.
But now that's literal because I can eat pasta 5 days a week, right?
You're genetically predisposed to it, actually.
Yeah. Ajax.
Hey, Jax. Good to see you, man. Yeah, prices are getting insane. We doctor Kenzie's food. We feed her dry, but she can get kind of picky with it. And I don't want her to not eat because she's like rail thin already. She's a skinny freaking dog. So we doctor it with a little bit of wet food. So I specifically went and found the cheapest looking wet food at a pet food store that didn't look like it was like pure garbage. And the last time I bought food, I bought like 6 cans because I only put like a tablespoon in each time, right? Or even a teaspoon. Bought like 6 cans and it was $1.79. Went back today, buy another 6 cans, $2.79. I'm like, what? Like that's insane.
Yeah, it's
crazy. It's like the lips and assholes of the animal that, you know, when there's duck in it, it's ground up beak and feet. There's no, maybe some feathers too. There's no real meat in there, but what they're charging for it is insane.
See, I've always been fairly strict with my dog about food because he's enormous, right?
Yeah.
So can't have him thinking, oh, I can just put my face in people's food. Like he could like accidentally hurt somebody, you know what I mean? Like he could knock somebody down.
Yeah.
So but I do mix in a little bit of wet food. I get those little stupid Caesars tins.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'll half of one of those Caesars tin is literally one big mouthful for him.
Yeah.
But I mix it into his kibbles, and he goes fucking crazy. He thinks it's the
Yeah,
greatest thing
same with
ever. So
Kenzie. She loves, like, she never turns her nose up at the food now that I'm mixing in a little bit of wet. And it's not enough to, like, the concern with feeding dogs wet food all the time is their teeth are going to rot because they're not crunching and grinding, right? But it's not like her kibble's still hard and dry. It's just it's got a little bit more flavor to it now. Has anyone heard from Veteran Mountain Man lately? I haven't seen him around in a very long time. Kind of worried. I'm not sure who Veteran Mountain Man is.
yeah, we well, I'm sure they still hung out with him more than that, but I haven't hung out with him in quite a bit. But yeah, I used to see him on the Twitter and stuff, but I did do like a Twitter hiatus. So, geez, I don't know.
Do you know him in real life, Six? I mean,
Well, IRL, we've seen his face over the internet, right?
yeah.
Like,
Maybe he just decided to go, analog, go off the grid.
he that's literally was his shtick. Like the internet was the only was so out of the ordinary for what he was.
Yeah.
The way looking at him, he's the stereotype of a veteran mountain man.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he had internet access at all was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So that's possible, but I'm sure he would have told people if that was the case. Like, okay, friends, I'm off for a while. Goodbye. Hello, Ben Felsen. The Costco today, and all prices were up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything's going up in price. Yeah.
Yeah, they. It's still
the worst
amazing.
thing at Costco too. Like you like shopping at Costco because you're getting a good price, but you realize you're paying for a membership, right? So the discounts you're getting may have been eaten up by your membership, and now that the prices are higher at Costco, it's even more in question, right? So he's probably the only one who's going to survive the reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He like the way he was set up. He was ready to just unplug and be in this hideaway.
I don't blame people for doing that.
Yeah.
I don't blame people for doing that, and I don't immediately think you're an extremist for wanting to do it. I was just thinking about something Elon Musk said recently about AI. He's warning about AI all the time, and he's saying technology exists today that you could get a fleet of drones, like just off the shelf commercial, retail drones, and write a piece of software with AI in it to seek out somebody, load all those drones up with explosives, seek out somebody in a crowd or in a city, and those drones would go and find that person and explode right now. He says that's not something that we need to, that is going to be 5 years down the road. That technology exists today. And then you think about, we're talking about Mountain Man, Veteran Mountain Man, and you think about guys like, Ted Kaczynski, and you're like, if Ted Kaczynski had existed at the time of the internet, can you imagine the damage that guy would have done? Think about it. He was a self-taught engineer. He was a genius mathematician, and he built all his bombs. And if it wasn't for one little piece of phraseology he used in a letter, nobody would have ever found him. It's insane. Anyway, just thinking about that, like you get a genius, goes out in the middle of the woods. He can buy everything he wants on Amazon, have it shipped to the local post office box where he, in the town, a bike ride away. And he could completely shut down the U.S. with the technology that exists with the internet now. Good old Uncle Ted. Last time I talked to Veteran Mountain Man was on the Weibo Jones dog bit fundraising stream.
Dog bite, yeah.
Dog bite. Oh, she got bit by a dog, didn't she?
Yeah, in the face.
That's right. I heard about that.
And it wasn't like a vicious dog or a big dog, from what I understand. It was just a super excited dog.
Yeah. It was like a family member's dog, right?
What's that?
It was a family member's dog, right?
I'm not sure all those details. All I know is like it. Initially, it looked like her upper lip was hanging by a thread,
Oof,
but they
brutal.
fixed it. Pox is asking, how does she heal up? Uh, I don't know if I've seen her, but she's showing her face on her streams and
Is she
stuff.
still a
So
cutie patootie?
yeah,
Um,
can't be bad.
Jeezy says the AI would have found him before he ever started. No, but that's the thing. He's a genius, right? And he doesn't have to be smarter than the AI. He only has to be smarter than the FBI agents or whoever who are trying to find him. But you're right. The AI in finding people is very, very sophisticated. Like it doesn't even need to see a face anymore. It can track people by their gait, by how you walk, because the way you walk, the way two people walk is not exactly the same. So
Well, funny thing, we already know that. We just don't know that we know that. That's how we recognize people from the back.
mhm.
If you're familiar with that person, they don't even have to take a step. They can just turn their head or move their arm, and you'll be like, that's my
I know
boy.
who that is. I
Yeah.
recognize the person. Yeah.
So weird stuff. So teaching an AI to do that is actually pretty impressive because our brains have like billions of years of evolution
Yeah.
involved in that. It's not even pattern recognition. It's like automated pattern shortening, where
Yeah.
we can get two pieces out of 1,000 and fill in the blanks automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like real time triangulation of movement, right? It's insane. All right, Six, you have a great night. Thanks for popping in.
Good
And
night, sir. Good night.
yeah, we'll talk to you all later. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, okay. Way out of left field here. But the Ontario School Board
Oh,
is
God.
no longer requiring for high school students final examinations.
Great.
District areas, district to district, can make up their minds about it. And if the district says we don't require it, a teacher still may. But in general, overall, the Ontario has dropped that requirement.
Why are they even bothering to go to school?
And I heard a research scientist talking on the radio about this and saying that the research supports that these kinds of tests and stuff don't really prove much, and yada, yada, yada. But then he goes on to say, I don't even remember the last time that I had to do something within exactly 2 or 3 hours without access to my books and notes.
Right.
Except I think all that did was show how out of touch he is with regular people, being a research scientist, like, high walls, ivory towers and shit. How lucky you must be to not understand the concept of a deadline. Like, I've been in shipping a long time, right?
Yeah.
And I handled a team of 50 people. We've got to get some 12,000 packages approximately out of these trucks, sorted into these containers that all go onto this truck by exactly this time, because those trucks have to leave at exactly this time, because they're trying to catch a plane that leaves at exactly this time. Because if the plane doesn't leave, it doesn't get where it's going on time. And then all of those packages are late. And if they were guaranteed next day, which a lot of them are, the customer gets a refund, right? So there's always problems that arise. Sometimes it's as simple as 5 people out of 50 didn't show up today.
Yeah.
So I got to solve that problem within this time frame and get those things out on time, right? Sometimes it's from upper management. We have a new thing we'd like you to do. I am already down to the wire, boys. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I think his point was when he's in his professional capacity, he can always has his material to draw from, right? And the fact of the matter is, when kids today are going to be going out in the workforce, they're going to be able to access the information superhighway as part of their day-to-day duties. So the idea that they should be forced to memorize things by rote doesn't make a lot of sense unless it's something very specific, like complex mathematical formulas or atomic structure of a given element, right? That might be something you need to know and be able to draw from in your day-to-day work. You shouldn't need to go, what's the atomic weight of whatever? You should know it because you're going to be using it all the time, right? But um, but I guess my thing is that school, at least the way we do school in a public setting, with like these, is kind of a dinosaur, and I've often said that I think kids should learn basic, numeracy, literacy, you know, a basic level of socialization, a basic level of historical understanding, and basic concepts of science and how cause and effect mainly. And once they have that, let them go and do what they have an interest in doing. And then if they want to go to higher education as they go on later in their lives, make them do an entrance exam, make them demonstrate that they have the knowledge needed to pursue further study of that given course. So I really don't think kids should be in school beyond the age of 13 or 14. And then let the rest of their, adolescent years be spent with autonomous study or learning work skills or doing whatever, and then developing their interests on their own in their own time, in their in their own way. And then they go, okay, you know what? I worked with robotics in this, warehouse for 3 years, and I really was impressed by these robots, and I've had to take them apart a couple of times and put them back together and get them to work again. But I really want to know more about robots. I'm going to go and study robotics.
Sure. And it's actually great that you bring this up, because this is all correct. That originally 200 plus years ago, 3,000 years ago, that's more what education was like. But our public school systems all through the West, well, mostly through the West, I'm sure there's a couple of European countries that do fairly well, are built on actually an old Prussian system of keeping people informed enough and knowledgeable enough to function. But the main point of their education and ours is teaching subservience to authority.
Yes.
So that people will just respond to authority. When the teacher says, hey, people snap and like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
It's and in the US and in Canada, it's about molding children into model citizens so that they understand the obligations that they have to the larger society. And that means showing up on time, meeting deadlines, listening to your betters or your teachers and following instruction. This is really the main purpose of education. It's more of like social molding than anything else. But now you've got education that's dominated by people who imagine themselves to be revolutionaries and think it's their duty to teach kids to break things down.
Right. Yeah. To indoctrinate them into a way of thinking rather than a how to think.
Right.
And
into upending the system with no plan on how to replace it or do something better, just upending it.
And I'll tell you, I would not survive this, because I already know, having graduated high school with like a 52% average, because I was interested in things, but I didn't want to do their bullshit work. All right. It's mostly busy work. I recognize that. Yeah. You think this is something that happened as I got old and bitter? I've always been a fucking curmudgeon. I've always been anti-authority.
I was the same way.
And when
I keep saying to my nephews, because my one nephew who's finished all of his schooling, he got all his credits. He's decided, because they were off school, like doing remote learning for like a year, he wants to go back for like a victory lap, as they call it, right? I'm like, so what, do you need some extra credits or something? Is there stuff you want to study in order to, get into a specific culture? No, then why are you going back? Are you going back to play on a sports team because you missed out on it? No, I don't know. Just want to. I'm like, dude, high school's a waste of fucking time. And I say that to my other nephew too, who's only in grade 10, right? I'm like, it's a waste of fucking time. And her parents are looking at me like, I'm like, it is. Seriously, when you get out, and I keep saying, when you get out of high school, you get a good paying job, squirrel your money away, and as soon as you can afford it, buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be living in a pod eating bugs. So do it. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to farm though. I'm like, you're not going to be a farmer. You're going to be a self-reliant individual who doesn't need the government to provide everything for you.
You're an extremist. We're going to have to investigate you.
I know.
But no, I can sort of maybe empathize a little, even though I don't really care for people that much. Maybe he just missed the socialization and wants to go back for a year of socialization.
That's I think what
right?
it is. That's what I think. Here's the thing: like his girlfriend, his girlfriend's in college this year, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to work for you, even though it'd be the best thing he could do is work for you and make money." He says, "I don't want to work for you. I'm going to go back to school because my girlfriend's in school, and at least then we have sort of like schedules that sort of coincide, kind of thing, right?"
Mm.
I'm like, I guess, but
let me tell you a story about people like me and how this is going to ruin all the people like me. Okay. I had a teacher who absolutely hated me. Okay. I'm not going to say her name, but she was the grade 11 biology teacher. And this is what I was like in high school. High school, they claim they're trying to train you for university. So sometimes the courses are treated like university. And at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the semester, you get a course outline. Okay. The outline tells you what's expected of you and the weighting of your grade.
Right.
So I look, it's a science course, right? So there's labs and stuff that you're going to have to take part. There's busy work. The busy work is maybe 10% of the total grade. Mm-hmm. Okay. People groaned out loud when they read intermittent testing over the semester, 30%. Final exam, 30%. Audibly from the class as we went over it. I looked, right. I closed the book, easy 60.
Yeah.
That's an easy 60. You know why?
Because I study for the test?
No, I don't study.
But you know what I mean? All you have to do is, if 60% is based on testing, all you have to do is prepare for the test. Know enough to pass the test. That's it.
But for me, prepare for the test is show up to class and listen to the lessons. Because guess what? I'm actually interested in fungus. I want to know how that shit works. Mitochondria, bring it on, right? Like, I was just all ears, even though this woman hated me and I hated her. She's writing on the board and I'm reading every word. I'm listening. Okay. I ace every fucking test. Okay. And the final exam was out of 180 marks, possible points on that test.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you did this. We did this thing where it's a 3-hour exam.
Yeah.
But you have exit windows. So you can leave if you're finished from 1 hour to 1:15. But if you finish at 1:16, you have to wait for the next window before you can leave.
Well, ours was you had to sit for a minimum. Right? Okay. So basically you couldn't leave before the first hour. But after that, once you're finished, you could go.
Okay, and we had it broken into windows, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I always exit the final exam in the first window.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm looking up at the clock. This window is closing on me. All right. We're at like an hour 10 now. I'm glancing, making my multiple choice question. All right. And I think I'm finished. I turn over the last page. Oh my God. There's a 10-mark question on the back page. I've got like 2 minutes. I know I'm not going to do it. I was like, fuck it. I know I crushed.
I don't want to stick around for another hour.
I'm not sticking around. So I just go hand it in without doing that 10-mark question.
Yeah.
Okay. Turns out my final grade, my grade on that exam was 169 out of 180.
Okay.
The second highest mark in the class.
Yeah. And you didn't even do the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, this teacher officially gives me a 45. So it's not a pass. Yeah. I took it to the principals and the guidance counselors. We were threatening to go over their heads to the board that this course outline is a contract. You told me what I needed. I fulfilled it. Like, this wasn't some random thing that I pulled. This was calculated. You told me what I needed to do, and I did it. And this is a 58 based on your weighting. Right? That's a pass.
Right.
And yes, the principal finally convinced the teacher to overturn it.
Yeah.
And but she wouldn't give me the mark I earned. She had to give me a 55, which was still a pass, but she wouldn't give me the 58.
What a B.
Right? So everyone like me is suddenly now disempowered. An independent person that doesn't need to do your stupid busy work bullshit, but will learn from you whether you like it or not, just not in the way you want. We're all fucked because they won't even let us graduate high school, let alone go to university or graduate university.
Yeah. That's why I'm of the mind that universities should allow anybody in who can pass an entrance exam or submit an entrance essay for the particular course. It shouldn't be a matter of your high school transcript. And they do to a degree, because people do apply to university as mature students.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing. You have to be 2 years out of high school to apply and stuff like that. Which is how I got into college.
I'll tell you a story about one of my science classes. Now, here's the thing. I was not a good student. I did not apply myself. I don't think I'm an idiot, but I took general level courses because I just couldn't be arsed. I knew what I was going to do when I finished high school. I was going to go to art school. So I didn't need university OACs in order to get to university. So I'm like, I'm not going to burn myself out trying to, kill myself with all these advanced courses. I had a few advanced courses, but the main ones, I took general level. So I took general level science, and it was a bird course. It was so stupid. It was very, very simple, right? And I regret that I didn't go into more advanced sciences because I really have an interest in science. But here's the thing. A few buddies of mine, every day at lunch, we would go across the street to Craig Anderson's house and sit in his garage and smoke up and get high. Then we come back and do grade 10 science. Okay. I can't remember his name. I want to say Duggan. Mr. Duggan was our teacher. He was a nice guy, and he was very matter of fact. You could tell that he probably wanted to be like a serious scientist at some point because he really cared about science, but he was burnt out by the fact that he'd been stuck teaching high school science for however many years. Every week, he would give us the test we were going to have to do that Friday. And then he would go over the actual subject in the textbook that pertained to that test. So we knew the answers, or we knew the questions before we took the test, a week before we took the test. So Monday, here's the test you're going to be doing Friday. We're going to go over all of these things. And then on Friday, you're going to write the test. I got 20 out of 20 every week, and I was going and smoking up. One time, he knew we were high. We came back to class, and we for whatever reason, you got to remember, this is the 1980s, and 1980s pot was nothing like today's pot. It was weak as shit. And so getting high was feeling a little giggly. We were baked on this stuff. Somehow we got some really good stuff, and we were completely baked. And it became a tradition. Every Friday before we wrote the test, we went to Craig Anderson's house, sat in his garage, and got high. We come back, write the test. Every week I aced it. Except this one week, he noticed that we were high because we were so baked, right? And he's walking around while he's giving the lesson before the test. And my buddies and I were all like laughing because we're so high. And he could tell we were high, right? And he's like walking close to us and asking us questions like really slow. And I turned to my buddy, I'm like, he knows, man, he knows. He knows we're high. And they're just like, shh, shh, shh. Like, he knows we're high.
Yeah,
Like, I was really paranoid about it.
when
right?
you're that paro, you know it's good shit, eh?
Yeah, and well, here's the thing: I get paranoid when I'm high anyway. But this was like he was like clearly in on the joke that we were completely baked. Anyway, write the test, ace it, get a 20 out of 20. But after that, we're like, okay, we better not do it because he's gonna know. And then if we come back high again, we're gonna get in shit. So we didn't go and get high that week. That week I come back, write the test, or that week after lunch I write the test without getting high, 19 out of 20. I'm like, fuck, I do science better when I'm high.
There's an amazing thing. They've done studies on this called same state recall. If you're getting high the whole time that you're going to class and learning, right? And then the time you go to the test, you don't get high.
Yeah.
You may fail to recall the things you learned while high.
True. Yeah. It's like, wasn't that the premise behind Bachelor? Was it Bachelor Party or whatever? Not a Bachelor Party. What the hell was that movie? Where they fucking black out because they take roofies.
Oh, fuck.
Where they go to Vegas for the Bachelor
Hangover.
Party.
The Hangover.
The Hangover.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something like
the
that.
Hangover.
Right?
They have to get drunk in order to remember where they left their friend. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you're in that same state, you'll probably do those same things. So that should take you on the right path, right? But that's not a reason to drink like I do or whatever. But just like, and marijuana is a different animal, right? Don't drink like I do, but go ahead, smoke like a fish or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Should be fine as long as you're high the whole time or never high at all. It should work out.
Yeah, it should be a treat, right? Getting high should be a treat. You do it as a once-off. Hey, you know what? I feel like getting high this weekend. I found edibles are much more enjoyable. Probably because I'm an old man, and probably because smoking and vaping weed makes me paranoid. It really does. But taking an edible, I'm just mellow as shit. I feel so relaxed. I don't know why. That's why studying cocaine is so effective. Yeah, probably. I've never done cocaine, so I wouldn't know. But
or Adderall, like
Yeah. Well, there's
whatever.
a reason why these smart drugs are called smart drugs. They make you fucking smart. I got so high before class, I drew the professor on the back of the test. That's
impressive. But yeah, and what's amazing about all this education bullshit is every year we've been seeing it, maybe not specifically every year, but over the years, the demands for learning, basically, right? Like the expectations have been going down.
Yeah.
They've been going down to such a degree, and it all has to do with the public system and the way it works. Somebody posted an 8th grade final exam from like 1873.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to try this just so I can show them up because, God, my basic math skills, I trust. I'm that asshole that is listening to someone who says him, and I go he. Right? They say less, and I say fewer. Right? The English section of this test would have failed me the test alone. And yeah, like I was like, what the fuck? The expectations for a 13-year-old in 1873, basic knowledge of your simple mathematics of the language you grew up speaking.
Yeah.
And I couldn't pass it. I was
Well, they also spoke slightly differently in the 1870s, right? So
no, the rules are still the same.
Well, I know, but we don't speak the same way, even if the rules are the same. Like, okay, for instance, I keep arguing with people when they say apricot.
Okay.
Because I'm like, it's not apricot, it's apricot. They're like, no, it's not. It's apricot. And I'm like, no, there's very specific rules for when to have a long A and a short A. And apricot does not meet the rule for having a short A. So anyway, it's a big bone of contention. And of course, there's always exceptions to those rules, but typically we have specific rules for how to pronounce words based on the arrangement of the letters in those words.
Yeah.
And I know that apricot and apricot are interchangeable, but to me, apricot is more proper.
That's probably true, but this didn't have anything to do with pronunciation.
No,
This had to do with name the parts of speech.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you know how many parts of speech there are?
Yeah. In the English language, it can get very, very complicated.
Right. Like parts of speech includes dangling participle.
Yeah.
Right? Like what? Name them all for an 8th grade test?
Yeah.
I don't know I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have a hard time doing it as well, but for whatever reason, I can still speak, with a certain level of clarity. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no.
we still speak properly. We don't say things improperly.
We try not to.
We try not to. I see it more in writing when people put could of instead of could apostrophe ve. That drives me absolutely fucking nuts when I see that.
Or just write it full out. Could have.
Yeah.
We say could have, but it's not OF. They don't know that because they only hear it, right?
Yeah.
But when you have time to edit, yes, that bugs me to no end, right? Yeah. Because we say things, we speak colloquially, and we're talking, and you talk yourself into a corner, and suddenly you end your sentence with a preposition to.
Oh, okay. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I try not to, but I still do it just for brevity's sake.
So, funny story, not only did you end that sentence with a preposition, you split your verb. I try to not.
I try not to, but.
It doesn't matter. You ended the clause.
Yeah, but it's
the clause is independent.
End with a preposition.
The clause is independent, so it of itself is a sentence. So it follows the same rules. It does. Multiple clauses together can be a single sentence, but each clause has to follow the rules of the sentence.
See, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so
you're right. It is more proper to say. What was the correct?
Try to not.
I try to not.
I try to not do this thing.
I try to not end my sentences in a preposition. However, I often do.
See, and I've started making an effort a while ago. I'm not even sure how long ago. Not to end sentences with prepositions. And what that does is it slows me down a little bit while I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually find that the order of my thoughts is a little bit cleaner.
When I'm emailing, like when I'm texting, like in my work chat, when people are asking me questions, all the rules go out the window because I'm trying to speak with them quickly and relay information to them quickly in a manner that they understand. When I'm writing an email to someone else in my company, I follow all of those rules. I never end with a preposition. I will change it around specifically not to end in a preposition because I want it to appear professional, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you should. Right? Box.
Big brain is get the bullet too.
Okay, so he, him, she, her, I, me. Wow. How do you do that? How do you fix this? Happens all the time. People say, me and him went to do this thing, when what they mean is he and I.
Right. But there's specific rules for when it should be you first and when it should be him first.
And it comes to subject object of the sentence, right?
The rule I always learned is if you took the other party out of this sentence,
yes,
would it sound more proper to say I or me?
Right? Yeah, and that's or he or him.
or
and it
hearing.
works every time. You don't need to understand, or you don't need to focus on subject object. Just take everybody else out of the sentence, and which form works, that's the form. It's
Right.
that simple, right? So Dave and John and me went somewhere. Me went somewhere? No, Dave and John and I,
Right.
right? But the teacher gave Jane and I homework. The teacher gave I homework.
No.
No,
You
the
give me
teacher
homework.
gave Jane and me homework.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really simple. And once you understand that, you'll never make that mistake again. And you'll start hearing it all the fucking time that
Yep.
everybody always does it wrong.
Speaking of education, did you hear the story about my old stomping grounds? No, I didn't go to this high school. However, it was in the same school district as me. Oakville Trafalgar High School with the tiggle bitty cross-dresser teaching shop. So if you haven't heard this story,
I totally forgot. I absolutely meant to start the stream about 5 or 6 minutes late, just so I could open with, sorry guys, I was looking for a big pair of prosthetic titties on short notice.
yeah, so this teacher who teaches shop, I think he's trying to make a point. Not because he's actually trans, but I think he's trying to make a point. He now teaches class dressed as a woman with the full-on 5 o'clock shadow. He's not trying at all to look like a woman. He's just dressed as a woman with a pair of gigantic, probably quintuple F prosthetic breasts.
Oh God, no, we're into the H's, bro.
Or maybe, yeah. Quintuple H prosthetic breasts. They're like going down.
Titties.
They're big, going down to his waist. They're that big, or below his waist even. And this is a high school where I have friends that I grew up with went to in my hometown where I grew up, and it's funny. Apparently, it's making all of the students very uncomfortable. But I get it.
Shit.
I get it. That shit was bonkers. Is the teacher fired yet? I don't know. I really don't know.
No, they can't. That would be transphobic.
Right.
You don't understand the law in Canada.
Yeah.
If he just does that,
identify as a woman, and they're like, okay, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yep. It's that fucking ridiculous.
Yep. And even here's the thing: he could identify as trans and still say, "But my pronouns are he, him."
Yep. Yeah. No, he can literally just make shit up as he goes because that's what they wrote in the law.
Because everything is subjective. Now, there's no objective truth about people anymore, and identity is completely fluid and determined by whoever holds it. It's not a negotiation any longer between other parties. What you say is true. So if you say that you are Napoleon Bonaparte, you are Napoleon Bonaparte. No, they're not even human size. They're like they're ridiculous.
Makes the anime girls jealous. Like,
yeah, there's some tig old bitties, man. I'm telling you.
See, I don't know, C-Mac. That would she have?
I think it depends on how. I think about it. It depends on how cold in the school it is. She has no control over it. It's an autonomic response because the ambient temperature of the high school is 66. She might have visible nipples.
Same dress code should apply. I mean, probably, but that's hate speech, C-Mac, and I think Justin Trudeau may have to investigate you for your transphobia.
That's right.
Just throwing that out.
I'm just like, you know what? If you can identify as anything, I'm gonna say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm finishing the Canada Man costume, and I'm gonna identify as a superhero. I'm gonna go everywhere dressed as Canada Man.
Do it.
I'll wear the mask. I'll carry the shield, and yeah, I'm Canada Man everywhere I go. Why are you dressed that way? Because this is my identity. I'm a superhero.
I've got one waiting in the chamber for anyone that I might run into IRL that we actually have this conversation.
Yep.
That they start, I don't know, accusing me of, I don't know, transphobia or something.
Right.
Force the conversation by suddenly correcting them and telling them, I am royal gender. I identify as royal gender. My pronouns are His Majesty and Your Majesty. So anytime they try to say you, because it's all accusatory.
Right.
Suddenly,
correct them with Your Majesty.
They have to refer to me as Your Majesty. Otherwise, they're breaking the law in Canada.
Right.
Repeated misgenderings are criminal harassment.
Right.
Right. So if you because it's not just you can refer to them by their name or you can refer to them by, some other way. No. To address me at all, you're forced into using my pronouns.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. If somebody's going to address me, I'm going to demand that they address me as Canada Man or sir. Yeah, it's a buzz term, right? Phobic means that you don't play ball. You don't play ball with the delusion. It means
why would I be afraid of a faggot?
I've always thought the best insult, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. It's on your stream, but I've always thought the best insult for somebody who is trans and demands that you address them the way
3 words.
Nice tits, faggot.
Yeah, I love it.
Because it's insulting and complimentary at the same time. Because you're using the absolute worst word. It's almost as bad as the N word. Almost.
Blair, forgive us.
I would never say it to Blair because I'm secretly in love with her. Secretly, publicly in love with her. But no, also she passes. She can pass as a hot woman. So I will honor her by calling her she. And I'll constantly wonder what her dick looks like.
Oh, fuck. Like it's terrible because I'm in this weird place now where I'm starting to think, nope. Poor girl, poor guy.
Yeah.
Got herself rolled up in this and had these surgeries, and maybe it makes her life better, but I don't know that it's real.
I'm pretty sure in most cases it doesn't. And it's one of those buyer's remorse things where you can't admit it. It's like when you get a bad tattoo, right? And you're like, actually, I really like the way it looks. Because you can't admit that it looks like shit. Same goes if you have bottom surgery and you get the fake, burrito that's supposed to look like a dick sewed to your abdomen.
Yeah.
Right. You don't like how that looks. I don't care who you think you're fooling. You don't like how that looks. It's not what you imagined. And same goes for getting the bottom surgery the other way too. That open wound that is under constant danger of infection, you don't like it, and it does not feel good to have it penetrated.
Oh, the best and worst joke I heard about this on 4chan was someone saying like, oh, I didn't realize they had to dilate for the rest of their lives. Like, I thought it was maybe only a few years.
No.
Right? And the next poster,
essentially an open wound.
Wait. The next poster is like, I didn't realize it was for the rest of their lives. I thought it was only for a few years. It is.
Because they don't live long.
Yeah.
Have you seen Matt Walsh's documentary?
No.
I watch it. What is a woman? It's good.
Yeah. No, that like it's not even the question, what is a woman? That's a pretty simple answer. It's just the idea of seeing how many people actually can't answer the goddamn question.
Right.
And
the mental gymnastics that people have to go through to respond.
Yeah.
It's very enlightening to see the kind of people who are in this sphere and have put in the mental effort to justify the absurdity that they are professing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you look at them and you're like, they're a stereotype. They're a caricature of what I would imagine this type of professional, this type of activist, this type of person would be. And they're living up to a stereotype. They look like a caricature. Amen.
No, you're not wrong. It's no, and it's funny though. They look like a caricature. They live up to the stereotype of that NPC caricature that's just repeating the talking points. And then Gerald Butts and Mark Garrettson refer to you as a bot.
Right.
Because based on their supporters, the people who support them, they can't accept the possibility
that someone might disagree with them.
Or no, that you might be real people.
Right.
Right? They can't accept that you might really exist and be real humans. Like they have absolutely no idea. They're so out of touch that they assume you're not real because their supporters aren't real.
Or that I'm an opportunistic grifter who's just, jumping on a bandwagon or what have you, right? Well, I mean, in a sense of that particular viral trend, I was jumping on a bandwagon, but it happened to be a bandwagon that I was fully in support of. So, I was the bandwagon I was just waiting to come by. So
sometimes shit comes together on its own. What do they call that? Grassroots, right?
Yeah.
Is that how they...
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, and somebody posted something along the lines of something basically saying, does anybody actually like Justin Trudeau? And I said, only NPCs. They like it. And then someone said, dude, he won like 2 elections. And I'm like, yeah, he got the NPC vote. Oh, so they're not people? And I'm like, yeah, you're getting it. Good for wrapping your head around it.
Right. The same guy who's saying politicians should not be allowed to disparage entire demographics is just calling them all nutty. But you know what? I get it. Because I'm with you.
No, it's not that they're not people. Of course they're people, but they've bought into the narrative so fully that they don't even realize it. They're, and it's, I don't know. I'm not a politician though. I'm not an elected official, so I can insult the people who are ideologically opposed to me.
High towers, ivory walls.
If Pierre Poilievre came out and said,
walls, ivory towers.
Sorry.
High walls, ivory towers. Yeah.
No, yeah.
They're out of touch.
Pierre Poilievre came out and said all of Justin Trudeau's supporters are a bunch of empty-headed NPCs, I would think that he should be censured for that. He should take shit for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I hope he doesn't, because I could see that very easily happening. But that's not the kind of politician or elected official I want representing me or the party that I support. So, let the people, sling it out on social media themselves. But the politicians should be held to a higher standard.
So we know it as non-player character, but CMAC knows better.
Not people communists. That's right. Is that what about that? Is that sniper?
Yeah. So
sorry about that sniper,
right? Yeah.
Where he was like crack shot and killed a bunch of communists in a war.
67.
How did it feel to kill so many people? I don't know. I only ever kill communists.
But no. You know what? I do believe it speaks to a kind of mind-body disconnect. And I've said this about fat people. I've said this about trans people. There's a lot of weird stuff. Right. It's not because they're fat or because they're trans. It's because they say this weird stuff that gives me a clue that leads me to think you're suffering mind-body disconnect. Yeah. You think your mind and body are two different things.
It's just it.
Right? I am my body, but I have my body. Both of those things are true at the same time.
Right.
But when you forget you are your body, you start saying stupid shit like,
I was born in the body.
I was born in the wrong body.
Right.
Your body's trying to tell you this. Your body doesn't tell you shit. You are your body. Right. You're experiencing this.
If yeah, if I ever had kids and my kid came to me because of the what do you call it? What do they call it? Societal infection or whatever, social infection, uh,
Social contagions, yeah.
social contagion, right? And said, "Dad, I was born in the wrong body." I'd say, "Well, your statement makes no sense. You are your body. You know, you don't pilot. Your body's not a vehicle that you drive around in. You are your body. Your mind is an emergent property of your brain. So if you say your mind doesn't feel right in this body, then you have a mental issue and we need to talk to a therapist about it. And if that therapist says that you need to change your body to match your mind, I'll say that that therapist is violating his Hippocratic oath."
Yeah, I so there's been some research with a particular drug that in a 2 milligram dose per day
Mm-hmm.
uh eliminates the desire for people to change sex.
Right.
That's a fairly low dose for as
Right.
drugs go. Like, I mean, even like tranquilizers are 10 to 20 milligrams, right?
Right. Right.
Um, and what stands out is that this is the same drug that's used for schizophrenics.
Lithium.
No, I can't remember the name of it. I think it starts with a P and ends with a dole. There's a Z in there, maybe an M, like pimazidole.
Yeah, it could be. Okay.
Uh, but in a 1 milligram per day dose, it does nothing. 2 milligrams per day, it does exactly what it does for schizophrenics, which is eliminate symptoms. So that's weird.
Yeah. Well, I've also heard that there's for people, boys who feel dysphoric about their gender or their sex, um, have a testosterone imbalance, and if you give them low dosages of testosterone, you increase their testosterone, the symptoms go away. And
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
would presume the same would be estrogen would work the same for girls who feel gender or sex dysphoric. Um, Now, the fact of the matter is, though, that the vast majority of cases of gender dysphoria or uh, gender identity disorder, as it used to be called, were males thinking that they were women, and that it is a very, very small percentage of females who think that they are male or think they are men. And that only because of social contagion are we now seeing the inverse, where it's mostly women now who think they are men.
Yeah, I just want to address Pox. Sorry, guy. You've led me drunk into a couple of things that I don't trust you now to
Was
open
he
up this
DMing?
fucking song.
He
Yeah,
asked you to DM.
I'm not going to open it up. I'll take a look at it. Maybe next time we'll run it. Okay. But right now, sorry, my dude. I'm not even going to look at it.
You don't trust Pox?
Uh, you know what? I trust him to be funny as fuck.
You
But
don't trust him to
sometimes
be.
I'm gonna end up the butt of the joke, so I'm just gonna
Well, I tell you
let it.
what, Irving, forward it to me, and I'll curate it. How about that? I'll look at it and see if it's going to be something that you're going to regret.
I might be too drunk to go through all the motions of opening it and sharing it, let alone sending it to you. So just bear with me here.
It's all good, man.
But we will address it at some point. I'll listen to it and we'll talk about it for sure. I'll send it to you if tomorrow or during the week so that you can Craig add me on Facebook.
Is that what he's asking me?
Yep.
I gotta find it first. Pox.
Okay, yeah, no, if you can curate it.
Yeah, because I'm not drinking, so.
But where were we? Yeah, no, yeah, okay.
I need to find you, Pox. I'm looking for you, but I don't see Pox Toxic.
I addressed this. No, it's on Facebook. He's not. Literally look up his name, Pox.
I don't know what his name is though. I only know.
No, Pox. Look up his name.
Oh, look up my name. It's literally my name. So send me a friend request and I'll
I'm not too drunk to send you his name. So, but the thing you were talking about, women versus men in transness,
yeah.
we discussed this, and I've said it a couple of times. I think if you spend 20 or 30 years
Yep.
telling boys you're all potential rapists and your existence is toxic to women because you feel like roughhousing. Gillette says boys will be boys, right? And then you tell all the girls for 20 or 30 years that, oh, it doesn't matter what civil rights and Title Nines, you'll never be able to succeed in what is a man's world. Wow. And then after that 20 or 30 years, you give them an out. You just might be the opposite of what we told you was horrifying. Yeah, for sure. They might try to take that out, especially when it gets celebrated to the degree it does. You know? Like, oh, you're not a girl. You're a man. That's going to make your life so much easier because we told you the entire time you existed, it's going to be fucking terrible for you.
All right, so it's a song. Now, unfortunately, I'm not signed in on Spotify on my computer because, like I said, it's a new computer. So I have to listen to it on my phone.
Pain in my brain, I've been messed up. Ain't won't let my mom find out. Because lately all them voices getting loud, telling me I got no reason to be proud. I know, can't help but feel like I'm out here battling this on my own. I don't wanna burden anyone, so I won't even pick up the phone. Don't call me back. I want answers for the way I feel when you've gone away. I still think about the times that I felt alright. My back pain, carry baggage on my back and in my brain. I don't wanna live with all the mess I made. I'ma free myself from all the chains someday. Y'all got problems too, let it out on me like all the others do. It's okay, I know the things that you've been through. One day you'll be free from all of your chains too. Feel like I can't live inside this brain I hate. Don't wanna listen to you tell me go away, cause if you don't then I'll just find a way to stay. The reason that you hate me is my loyalty. But my mind's in pain.
Is this Pox? Is this you, Pox?
No, he said it's his buddy.
Oh, I like it.
No, this is that mumble rap bullshit. I haven't been able to make out like more than 1/5 of the lyrics.
What's that?
It's that mumble rap bullshit that's all the rage in the fucking Zoomer strip clubs and like, yeah, like. No, I haven't been able to make out.
Well, Pox, you tell your friend Jackie G. It's a solid beat. I like it. I'm not big into hip hop or rap, but I appreciate it. It's good. I'm not gonna lie.
No, the first thing I thought was the strip club, and then I was sadly disappointed because there's no titties in my face. So yeah.
Yeah, I've just listened to it on my phone, but I appreciate you sharing it. I like that. Jeezy says blah. Jeezy's not a fan.
Yeah.
It's not my particular type of music, but I appreciate that it's well done. It's well put together.
I mean, for its type, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, because they're all the fucking same.
You know, everything's a variation on a theme, right? There's no new ideas, no new things, no new media. It's just all variations on a theme at this point.
Man,
We need a complete societal civilizational collapse before new things can be
no,
created.
of course not. No, tell that to fucking Led Zeppelin. Tell that to Pink Floyd. All right. The same people that love Led Zeppelin love Pink Floyd. You know why? Not because they're exactly what they've always wanted to hear and have listened to for the whole time, because they were something new.
Right. You can say the
Right.
same thing about the Beatles and Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there's no such thing as revolution in music, but even those guys, they were doing variations on stuff that had come before them. Everything is, right?
But they mastered it and made it something
And
new.
made it something unique and new.
These guys, sorry, in my opinion, it's the same old mumble rap bullshit that's been in every strip club for the past 10 years. I don't see it as anything different or special.
And Irving knows because he's been in every strip club in the last 10 years.
I have.
I haven't been to a strip club in, I've got to say, it's got to be 10 years. I haven't been to a strip club in 10 years, easily 10 years.
So what happens is after 12 months, something in my brain switches off and it's like, we have to go to the strip club. And if it doesn't happen to me,
yeah,
it happens to one of my married friends with kids who's like, hey, Irving, I've got this weekend to myself. What do you want to do? I don't know. You want to like hang out in your yard? Maybe we'll barbecue? No, let's go to the strip club. All right. And I just go. They live vicariously through me because I'm still the single one. And if it doesn't happen in 12 months' time, I'm the one who's itching for it. So yeah, I've been to.
I had a friend that I used to hang out with on a regular basis, and we had the weekly jam session in his wife's studio warehouse area. She makes jewelry. Anyway, he had his keyboard set up there, a drum set of friends of his, and then these couple of guys would come with their bass and their guitars, and they would play, and we would and I would sing, and we would do things like mainly 90s alternative stuff, right? And one time this one guy goes, I don't feel like jamming tonight. Let's go to Solid Gold. And then it became like a monthly thing where we would jam for 3 weeks out of the 4. And then the 4th week we'd go to Solid Gold. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like seeing boobs, but you know what? Like, it's not my thing. It was nice to hang around with the guys, but none of us would ever get like a lap dance or a table dance. We would just go there, have some drinks, and watch movies on the stage. That was it. No, I'm not going to sing for you. I have to be very drunk.
He has sang for us.
That's true. I sang some Bloodhound Gang earlier. That's right.
And he will in the future.
Probably.
Yeah. But not on demand. DJ Request does not take requests.
I only go if it's for work. If I'm giving you $1 million, you better pay for a hot chick to slap her ass cheeks on my face. I missed it. Do it again. No, man, the moment's passed. Mind you, it's in the same subject matter because we're talking about strip clubs.
No, he was here.
Was he here?
You did the line from the Bloodhound Gang, and he was espousing in the chat to all the other chatters how true it was.
Oh, that's right. That was how true it was. I already sang. Yeah, fuck you. I'm not your dancing monkey.
It's a rare moment in the world when Pox has had too much to drink, more than I have. Yeah.
It's all right. It's a weekend. You're allowed to drink. Hey, do you know how to fix a leaky sink?
Depends.
So it's leaking right where the drain pipe connects to the underside of the sink. So like it looks like the caulking that was put in there, it started to disintegrate.
No,
And
that
now,
shouldn't be it. It should just be the washer.
uh,
Where the pipe connects to the basin, the washer should be bad.
no,
And
no,
if
it's not.
you,
Okay, so it's not the pipe. Then it's the basin, the drain that attaches to the underside of the sink.
yeah,
So you got the sink, and then there's a little stainless steel part, and then the pipe. So it's between the sink and the little stainless steel sort of basin,
yeah,
or drain.
under the basin, you have water leaking out from where the pipe connects to the basin. That sounds to me like there's the washer in there has eroded.
No, I can see where it's leaking. It's like it's like whatever caulking material they used around there is starting to disintegrate.
You shouldn't have to caulk it if the washer is good. Yeah, it should just screw in proper, and the
No, no, that's
washer should.
fine. Where it screws in is fine, but where the sink, so the sink goes down, right? And then there's like a little trap or drain part, and then the PVC pipe connects under there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not there. It's where the little trap before the pipe connects to the underside of the sink.
Is
It's
the
not a
trap a
uniform.
separate part of your basin?
Well, it's not a uniform piece. It was attached there. It's not all part of the sink. It's a separate piece that was epoxied there, either in manufacture or when they installed it. So it's leaking there.
That just sounds like too many steps. Like you should have a basin and a pipe, and if you have a good washer,
Yeah.
epoxy outside should be unnecessary. The trap, whatever the trap is, if it's a
Yeah.
separate piece, I would try to remove it, attach the pipe directly to the basin
No, I can't.
with a good washer in there.
No, I can't. I can't because the way it was. Well, without showing you pictures, it's tough to illustrate. But
Yeah.
anyway, I can see where I can feel where it's leaking, and I can see where it's leaking, and it's not where the pipe screws onto the underside of the sink. It's above that, but below the actual sink itself.
My
My
trade
wife's all
college,
freaking out because she finds water underneath in the cupboard underneath. She's like, I think we have a leak, and we look, and sure enough, the bottom of the cupboard is like just logged with water. So I don't know how long it's been draining into there
mm,
because we got a bunch of things in there, like cleaning materials and stuff like that. So it was basically getting trapped in there. Anyway, I gotta fix it tomorrow somehow. I'll go to Home Depot. I'll watch some YouTube videos. I'll go to Home Depot. This my Asus wants to restart, and they keep telling it, no, give me an hour. Let's postpone it an hour. And then an hour goes up, and now we're at almost 3 hours. So there you go.
because we've been doing that a lot lately.
What? Erwin's going to
Going
help.
3 hours.
Yeah, it's true. We've been going longer than 2. It's true.
And
That's
I'm
okay.
happy to help my friend with his cock.
Thanks, buddy. No, I told the wife, I'm like, I'll just get some silicone. I got some in the the tool cabinet in the garage. And then I'm thinking, if I just slap some silicone on there, it's a temp fix at best. So I better find out what I need to do to fix this.
No, but
properly.
if you let it dry and like if you could stop using the sink for 24 hours,
Yeah, that's the plan.
the just adding more caulking
We'll probably
would
fix it.
probably seal the leak for the better part of a year,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe a couple.
Yeah.
Right. But it just sounds like too many steps. Why do you have a separate piece?
It's tough
From
to
your
explain. It's tough to
basin.
explain. But okay, so you know how in a bathroom sink, right? It's like porcelain, and then you've got that little metal ring around the bottom of a bathroom sink.
That's just a fixture, though. It shouldn't be mechanical.
No, you're right. But in this case, it's a complete monolithic piece of sink, right? but then at the bottom, it's like a cylindrical trap, and then the drain goes into the pipe. And the cylindrical trap has been attached either to the sink in manufacture or in installation using some form of epoxy. Or it was welded there, and
Yeah.
the welding has become brittle, probably through liquid plumber use or through heat or whatever. I don't know. But in
No,
any event,
you keep telling me how. You're not telling me why.
I don't know. I didn't design the fucking thing.
You heard my science experience in the
Yeah, I know.
in
I don't
school.
know how.
I don't
didn't
care
design it.
how. I care why.
I didn't design it. I don't know why it was done this way, but this is how it was done.
No, like again, you could remove this thing adhered by some epoxy, put a good washer and fix that to the basin, and all your problems should go away.
So when you say washer, you mean like a rubber gasket?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a proper O-ring, right? Like a good rubber O-ring inside the attachment. It should all fit properly, and the rubber will it will squeeze into and become air and waterproof.
You see the chat? They're getting really pissed off because we're ignoring the chat. He says, "It's not caulk, it's putty." Look at the fucking chat. Buy a new basket.
Okay,
plumber's
yeah.
putty. It's a goddamn basket. Yeah, that's what I mean, a basket.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, you're killing me. Putty, it's fucking putty.
Okay. Oh, okay.
About to have a stroke, LMAO. Are you fucking kidding me right now? As if you've never seen a kitchen sink, Fox. I'm dying inside.
No, I'm sorry. Look, I'm the one nephew for all my trades uncles that has been reliable. Okay,
Fucking Fox, you're killing me. I don't know what kind of backwards ass kitchens are in Canada. You fools buy milk in bags.
No. Have I ever seen a kitchen sink? Guy, I helped install the kitchen sink in this house right now. And you know what? There's no mystical, weird fucking piece between the basin and the PVC pipe for drainage.
Yeah,
all I have is the PVC pipe and a proper rubber washer O-ring. And it's never leaked in the last 25 years. Because it was 25 years ago when I was 15 years old. I helped my uncle install it. Yeah. No, what the fuck?
They don't make them like they used to.
What's this weird new thing?
It's a basket. It's the basket.
That needs to be puttied in. Are you kidding me?
No. Listen, he's right. When you go to Home Depot and you buy a sink, you buy a metal stainless steel sink.
Yeah.
It's got a hole in it. You have to put something inside of it, a basket, and then the little plug will be a different design depending on your basket design. He's absolutely right.
No, he's talking about what you're talking about now is the basket that goes inside the basin from where you put water and dishes in it.
Right. No.
What you're telling me is
the basket.
Underneath the sink, there's some other weird ass fucking thing that doesn't just screw into the bottom of the basin.
No, the thing that goes in the bottom of the sink is a basket, and it goes below the bottom of the sink, and that's where the pipe screws to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, nope. No. No, I don't know what you're saying. Because what I see is a bowl with a hole, and you put some net on top of it. That net is metal, and it fits other fucking plugs and shit. But the bowl with the hole is what it is. And underneath it, you can affix something to it. And you're trying to tell me there's some extra thing affixed underneath?
No,
because if I put a pipe underneath it with a good washer, a proper rubber O-ring, that will not leak. It can't unless that O-ring erodes.
Yeah.
Whatever you do inside the basin does not affect how that is air and water sealed underneath.
I have a feeling that Pox is right. It's probably the putty that was used to attach that basket part to the bottom of the
Why
sink.
would you putty underneath the basin?
Well, according to him, you can't have metal attached to metal. You need something between it, and that thing is putty.
No, it's a rubber washer. It's an O-ring. And that O-ring, when you tighten it, the rubber expands and it fills all the gaps. And unless that rubber erodes, there should be no passage of air or water.
Well, okay. Listen, whatever the fuck it is at the bottom of my sink has eroded, whether it's putty or a gasket or a rubber washer or fucking the sink's tonsils. I don't care. It's eroded and I need to fix it.
Yeah.
So
okay. So if what I'm saying is correct, you should be able to unscrew the pipe underneath.
Yeah.
Pull out the old shitty washer, put in a new one of the same size, and screw it back.
Okay.
No putty should be required for this.
I tell you what. When I'm done on this live stream, which is probably soon because it's almost 3 hours now, I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos on how to fix this particular problem, and then tomorrow I'll go to Home Depot, buy what I need to do to fix it, and then when I'm done fixing it and it's no more leaking, I will message you and I'll tell you exactly what I used to fix it. And then we'll both be on the same page.
Dude, here's what I'm saying. If you have to put putty on the outside of your work for waterworks, you failed at waterworks.
Okay.
Your waterworks should be held inside the fucking pipes, inside the joints. All right. I'm not a master of this by any means, but I have helped my plumber uncles, my carpenter uncles. All right. I've done some of this shit just to help them. And yeah, no one has ever puttied up the outside of their work because they didn't do a good job on the inside.
I think the way I'm explaining it is giving you the incorrect image. The way I've explained it, you're seeing something different from what I've seen. I'm going to watch YouTube videos.
No, these guys are telling me, oh, have you never seen the workings of a sink? What? Are you fucking kidding me? I've seen plenty of good working sinks. None of them had putty on them. Like
CMAX seems pretty confident on what needs to be done. Now, I'm not saying that I believe CMAC outright, but I'm going to watch some YouTube videos and I'm going to compare notes from both you, Irving, and you, CMAC, and I will make a determination by consulting the wonderful reps at Home Depot on what I need to do to fix it. And then I will make an educated assessment of what it is I need to do and attempt to fix it.
I'll tell you this. Nowhere in the waterworks in my house, all right, if it's inflow, outflow, all right, pieces screw, pieces are sometimes you can do it by hand. Sometimes you need a wrench to really get it in there. But what matters is those good O-rings, those good washers, rubber washers.
Gasket.
Yep.
CMAC said
no putty under my sink.
CMAC,
anyway.
CMAC, are you a plumber by trade? Or do you install cabinetry in kitchens and stuff? I'm not going downstairs with my. I'd have to take my laptop downstairs, open up the cupboard underneath the sink, and show him, and I'm not going to do that. I'm curious what
the rubber washer goes underneath the putty, goes in the sink under the basket lid. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, we'll see what needs to be done.
No, like film your adventure in home repair. I'm sorry I can't because I actually did this recently.
No. I think he's talking about me. When I fix it, he wants me to film it.
In between. No, see, no, in between. Inside, no. That's a bad plumber. My uncle explained this to me. I'll give him this. My uncles were always good teachers.
Fuck, I'm loving this chat.
And they explained to me, the only reason you need to do this is because you didn't have the right part. Yeah, no, your basin needs to fit your pipe, and your O-ring, your gasket, your rubber washer needs to fit both. Once you have everything lined up, there should be no need to putty. It should fucking work almost like magic, or like we like to call it in the business, science.
All right. The chat is just hilarious. You know, isn't it
Yeah,
funny
no,
how
I
you
love
can have the most engaging chat on a
So good.
stream where how many people are watching? Where there are 6 people watching, and the topic is fucking home maintenance. Canadians wash their dishes in a toilet in the kitchen. No. It's not a wax gasket. A rubber gasket. Anyway, it's not magic, it's physics. Okay. Plumber's putty is the plumber's choice for making watertight seals around faucets and drain fittings. Learn where and how to use plumber's putty. Thank you, CMAC, and thank you everybody for the enjoyable chat and all the advice. Again, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos, speak to the people at Home Depot, get the shit I need to get it done, and get it fixed. And then my wife will think I'm the most manliest of men, because I'm really not that competent when it comes to home repairs. But if I can do this, thanks to the advice of CMAC and Pox and Irving and the guy at Home Depot, she'll see how she'll realize my value, and she won't kick me to the curb quite so quickly.
And I just want to say, like, with no real trade experience, but just having that, uncle needs help, can you go? I've done it. I fixed the toilet in the basement of my dad's workplace for like 10 years. And then one day, 5-6 years ago, I came home, found my own bathroom literally like a 1/4 inch deep in water, and with very little to no education, I just got on my back with the limited tools I had, got under the toilet, and stopped the leak, cleaned it up, fixed everything. Okay, maybe there's some place for whatever you're calling plumbers putty, but it's not in the building. From ground up, if you want to make it right the first time, it shouldn't leak. You shouldn't need to seal it on the outside. You should do it right internally.
I think entropy indicates that things eventually break down, regardless of how
they do
they are, how right you do it.
But the idea is,
CMAC,
you should pull out that O-ring and replace with a good O-ring, and that should be it.
I will never hire
rubber gasket should be the be all and end all of your leaks.
Just because it worked doesn't mean you did it right. You know what you should hire Irving for? Shipping logistics. Because that guy, he knows his shit inside and out when it comes to shipping.
I do know that.
Box Toxic, imagine taking my advice. Be the first person to burn your house down with fucking with water. Oh, guys, this has been hilarious. That sounds about right, CMAC. But again, I am going to watch YouTube videos, which is what I do for everything. So Ben Filson asked a while back for the joke,
Yes.
and like this isn't my stream, so I can't just
Yeah,
insert
no,
a joke. It has to be okay with Irving first. I'm trying to see
if
where he
you've
goes.
got one, let's go.
Craig, it's time for the joke of the night. Do you have one first, Irving? Because it is your stream.
If it's my stream, let me do one after.
Okay. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. Thought I heard one earlier this week. Shit.
All I've been thinking lately is the bad, terrible dead baby jokes.
Oh,
Like-
go for it, man.
No, like the
You tell
absolute.
one and I'll tell one. Or I'll tell one and you tell one.
Oh, okay. This
All right.
this could take another hour, so let's get started. I'll start with the absolute basic. What's funnier than a dead baby?
I don't know what's funnier than a dead baby.
A dead baby in a clown suit.
Mine's pretty classic. What's worse than 10 dead babies in a garbage can?
I don't know, Craig. What's worse than 10 dead babies in a garbage can?
One dead baby in 10 garbage cans.
Mine's a two-parter. Will you indulge me?
Should go for it, man.
How do you get a baby into a mason jar?
I don't know. How do you get a baby into a mason jar?
Blender.
Okay.
How do you get it out again?
I don't know how.
Nachos.
Oh, that's nasty. All right. Let me see if I can get. I've got another one. Why did the dead baby cross the road?
I don't know. Why did the dead baby cross the road?
It was stapled to the chicken.
Oh.
Awful jokes. Disgusting.
How many dead babies does it take to shingle a roof?
Depends on how thin you slice them.
Oh, very good. Very good, sir.
Anyway, it's your stream. You can call whenever you want, but I think I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah, we're okay. We're good.
Thanks everybody for the plumbing advice and the wonderful chat and the jokes and the laughs. Thank you, Irving, for once again having me on. I'm Craig Bragg. I do YouTube videos. It's kind of like Sticks Hex and a Hammer 666, but I do it in my car. It's all off the cuff stream of consciousness crap. Feel free to check out my channel. I think YouTube or Irving might have put it in the comments or in the subject. I don't know. But if not, just look for my name, Craig Bragg, and my little blue logo, and you'll find me. And with that, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
And in this last moment, I just want to showcase this craziness from CMAC. The putty goes in the sink basin before you put the new basket in. And Irving is the joke right now. No. If you need fucking putty, you didn't do a good job. You're the joke, CMAC.
I think there might have been a match made here because apparently Pox loves this chick CMAC. I didn't know CMAC was a chick, but so they're probably gonna DM afterwards and like meet up and have a life together. What's funny is you can substitute any ethnicity for baby and get the same joke almost every time. That's true, you can.
There it is. That's the joke of the night. Oh yeah. Absolute win. And on that note, yes, I will call it. For Orson, for Kislev. Any outs?
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you for coming. We'll see you in the next one.